Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say run. Just say run.
Welcome back to the W1 Sim Series.
What is going to be a cutthroat championship clash.
20 cars line up under the lights. 4 and 5 red lights.
We welcome you to W1. Wheel to wheel, heading through lane car. They're going to go side by side, coming in towards Baggins and Beckett. Who's bravest? Fantastic move from Cheryl Bucknell. But it's not over yet. The house comes back at her. We fought a big crash though. And she leads, she crashes, she's round.
What a hard-fought victory that was. That is just spectacular.
But your drivers champion W1 Sim Series. What a season they have had.
Well, after the trials and tribulations of Texas, we head onto the lights in Las Vegas, where drivers will be hoping to maybe put it all on red. Or will it be just no dice? Welcome back, one and all, to the W1 Sim Series as it takes off for round number 7. We head to the streets of Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world, and we're in for one heck of a treat tonight. My name's Tom Knight, an absolute pleasure to be back in the commentary box once again, and alongside me, the man that with the most beautiful analogies and puns alongside him, it is the wonderful Mr. Carl Paranek. Carl, how are you? Welcome back.
Oh, I'm great, man. It's good to be back. I'm replenished, I'm recharged, and of course we go to Vegas. I'm glad I'm recharged for that reason. There's going to be some sprinklings of chaos. I hope you're all ready.
There certainly is going to be a very chaotic race indeed. The walls are close, the lights and the fame ever closer for our drivers as we get ready to go racing. We're just waiting, I believe, for one more driver to get themselves into the lobby. But of course, that is all to come. Short qualifying session as usual, so drivers will have 18 minutes to set their fastest lap times that they possibly can before heading for 25 laps along the Las Vegas Boulevard to see who will take home that trophy. Shall we, Carl? Before we get into anything, first and foremost, let's have a look at our driver lineups for today's outing. And we'll start on the left-hand side. It's Miss Nutrix and Emma Clay unchanged at the Scarlet Red Ferraris. It's unchanged also Alexis Mason and, of course, Charlotte Perkins stepping into the full-time seat alongside her for the Silver Arrows. It's the Audi Aura as Jazz Luna and Regan Boylan line up side by side with Heather and Lauren nodding at Team Williams. Only Vic returns for the second time in the series alongside Alicia Hofflack for Team Alpine. And then it's Abigail Roxarino alongside Vanessa Hostetler at Haas this evening.
I saw Abigail's last name last week and I thought she was a Brazilian winger, but who knows? Anyway, we're going to move on to McLaren. Reigning champion Lee Woodward alongside Sarah Hardy, reserving in. Alongside, we've got Lily Browning and Ashley Darts in the Red Bull, Catherine Ormrod and Carlotta Markey in the Fury from Faenza. The Lean Green Machine, that's Madge Kocic and Sasha Go. I'm so sorry, we'll work that one out. But then you have, in the Cadillac, we know how to say these two, Zara Shahsavari and Championship Chaser, closely following Emma Clay, and that is Catherine Thiel-King.
Absolutely. Stacked, a very, very stacked lineup for us here at Las Vegas. They are treating us to some fantastic racing. And of course, if you want to keep up with how the championships looks, first and foremost, you can do it on all of our social media, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, the works. You can go check that out. But of course, a brief rundown before we do get started. It's Emma Clay that leads from Catherine Thiel-King by 9 points. And then just a further 7 back is Lee Woodward. The top 3 are clear by about 66 points at the moment, heading into the final 4 rounds of the season. So the battle is well and truly starting to hot up here.
It is. It's getting to crunch time as well. We're not far away. We're into that second half, well into it by the time we come out of this weekend. And Vegas is a bit of an enigma when it comes to the F1 calendar. It's kind of like Madrid in many ways. You throw it in, you don't really know what's going to happen because there is that element of the safety car. We have no doubt we'll probably see at least one tonight. It's just par for the course at being on the streets of Las Vegas. It's interesting though. 3-horse race, exactly what we want to see, but it's the Italian horse that leads it.
And it certainly is. Let's have a closer look at our track for this evening then. 3.853 miles and 17 turns, giving us also 3 active aero zones where drivers can open up that straight line mode, even if some do say the track looks like an upside down pig or spider pig if you want to try and not get sued by Disney. It's going to be some fantastic racing, very fast, very flowing circuit with a lot of heavy braking zones where drivers will be able to slam on the anchors and maybe, just maybe, send a cheeky move down the inside.
Couldn't agree more. Elite bacon knowledge there from TK, and it gets better as you look across the track. You've got that initial streaky straight in the first sector. You go down to turn 5. You have to play chicken with the curbs a little bit as you head into sector 2, but it's all about setting your exits up. You get onto the back bacon straight, the Vegas strip, blitz it down there, obliterate your battery, but make sure you save some for the start-finish straight. I think the main majority of moves aren't actually going to be on the Vegas strip per se, but it's to those that have been more patient, a bit more cunning, and saved that electrical juice for the start-finish line.
I couldn't agree more. Diving into turn 1, an ample opportunity for our drivers to try and get those all-important moves, but of course that is to come slightly later on in the session. First and foremost, we must decide who does start from the front. We'll have a quick look at our season calendar as we always do. We are 70% of the way through once tonight concludes. I can't believe the season has gone by this quickly, but it is going to be a thrilling final run towards the lines. Of course, previously in Season 2, we visited Great Britain, we headed to Canada, where we saw fantastic racing, Imola then next up, before heading for the start of the double-double, but between Barcelona and Madrid, before then Texas and tonight, Las Vegas. Just a reminder, we have got a break week next week, so there will be no racing action on this channel for the usual. Who knows what the drivers might get up to in their free time before the final run towards that checkered flag. We head to Zandvoort, Mexico and Saudi Arabia to see our season off.
Cracking calendar, isn't it? So many chapters to unfold still as well. Just an interesting case in the championship as well, because Emma Clay, she leads by 9 points as you mentioned earlier, but you've got to think back to the very first race at Britain. Had she not had that disconnect, she could be even further ahead. So it's really the luck of the Wi-Fi gods is why she's not that much further ahead. But her consistency has put her right up there. First or second place other than the first round. Could look to continue that today. But Vegas, bit of a maverick. Anything could happen out there. There could be a surprise in store.
There certainly could be. It will be all eyes to the lights as we get ready to go racing. But let's not beat around the bush anymore, Carl. We have got drivers getting themselves out, getting themselves ready to go for their opening qualifying runs. And it will be this driver, Catherine Omerod, that starts us off running in towards the second sector and past that Las Vegas sphere.
Since Esme Chambers dropped down to reserve, someone had to take up the mantle of being the first out on track. In this case, it is the RB driver. Fair play, a Ferrari, following closely behind, and that is the championship leader, who's getting out there early, getting acclimatized to the track, and in some ways, that's what you kind of want. Usually, if you're in a stronger position, you want to let the track rubber in a bit first, then lay down your marker. But when it's Vegas, when it is about confidence and flirting dangerously close to barrier, it's better to get that lap time in early, and then you can build it up from that point onwards. So it'll be interesting to see how the drivers attack it, what philosophy they're going to use. But it will be Catherine Ormerod going down the almighty Las Vegas strip, goes on for an absolute eternity. Then she's got this triple threat of turns 14, 15 and 16. And then it's battery to blitz. It's time to put a benchmark down.
You're absolutely right. You almost could write War and Peace on the run down towards turn 14. The opportunity does start to present itself, but here we go then. In towards the final corner, taken pretty much at full throttle. Little lift and maybe a downshift as well to keep the engine in the high rev ranges, but in towards the opening corner. Let's see what Catherine Omerod can try and produce. The mini sectors on your screen, hopefully, should all turn purple over the course of this lap as we round out down towards, I believe, down to turn 4.
Yeah, through turns 1, 2, 3, and the corner run policy is shocking. We just pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Turn 5 apparently comes next because Vegas people don't like fun. all over the curb goes Catherine Ormerod. Exactly what you need to do, attacking every single part. Now you've got some respite to save that battery a little bit. Get your car over that curb, just missing the apex, but not missing turn 8 by any means. This is where you need to hit the later apex, though. Set yourself up, a little bit of battery to burn before you get to turn number 12. But how much have you saved for the Las Vegas Strip? You want to have every single morsel of momentum in your favour. So you lift off, you brake at the 50-metre board, get yourself all over that curb, and now, throw caution to the wind, it's electrical incineration down the Vegas Strip.
You can keep an eye on the battery on the right-hand side, already recharging before you even approach half of the straight distance. You can see the battery live on the right-hand side, on board with Ormerod, charging back up to about 20-25% before approaching down towards turn 14. And like you said, leaving some spare change in that wallet to try and run down towards the line, up to 50% then, and through that trio of corners, 14, 15 and 16, and up towards the line for Catherine Ormerod to set the benchmark, deploying everything that they've got in their battery reserves through the final corner. Straight line mode closes, up towards the line, goes fastest, 32.337 for Ormerod. Emma Clay immediately jumping that away, a 31.480 for the Scuderia Ferrari.
Cracking start time. Catherine Thielking can't hold a candle to that. She's 8 tenths off. And, well, training season's over. Emma Clay with a lap of electricity early doors at Las Vegas. Lee Woodward, 32.3 into P4. We've got Regan Boylan into P6, into the 32s. Good start time from the Audi. Heather placing a marker down as well. It's all about getting that first time on the board. If you're able to do that, then the sky is the limit for the rest of this session. Miss Nutrix taking significantly more speed down the Vegas Strip at peak compared to Catherine Ormerod. And that could make all the difference here. We don't know how much battery she's currently got in store. Save enough, though, for this final straight. Anything's possible. It's going to run out of puff as she reaches the start-finish line. Perkins peels into P2. What has Miss Nutrix got in store? The answer is P6 currently. Not far away at all from a lot of the heavy hitters. That's a great time.
Absolutely fantastic lap time from herself at the moment. Let's keep an eye on Oni Vic up towards the line. Her return to the W1 Sim Series towards the line at 36.2. Goes 16th fastest, just ahead of Zara Shahsavari behind herself. I believe that was Carlotta Markey coming home in... No, it wasn't. Who was that? Was it LJ Ripley? Lauren nodding. It was! Guessed one of the drivers correctly. We got there eventually. There's a lot of blue cars on this track map. I take no discredit.
Too many blue cars. Give us some help, F1, please. Lily Browning goes through turn number 9. All clean and composed so far. As she said it in the Twitch chat, she's hoping to get to lap number 2. We'll look forward to that at a later point. For now, at least, it's all out attack here in qualifying towards turn number 12. Lily Browning, of course, has been a regular fixture in the points quota. It can happen. Race shenanigans do happen. It's unfortunate, it's sad, but the main thing is she's come back. It has not put her off. She's back on the racetrack, and she's here to lay a marker down once again here in Vegas.
Absolutely. You get knocked down, you get back up again. They're never going to keep her down as the words echo in her head. Up towards turn 14, 15 and 16 then for the Red Bull racing car. Throwing the car in. Nice, cool, calm and collected. Carrying about 150 clicks an hour. And down towards the final corner, turn 17. It will come a beckoning. You can see the battery recharge light. So he tries to give it everything up towards the line. Round turn 17 then for Lily Browning. Crosses the line, goes 13th fastest for the Red Bull racing car. Opening laps. Pretty much done. Just waiting for Abigail Roxy Rhino, who is up towards turn 14 now. Will be the last of our drivers to set lap times. What's she got in her tank?
I just see her last name, and I'm just hearing commentary lines in my head. Screamer top bins, Roxarino! It's not Roxarino though, is it? It is Roxy Rhino. Although charging, like said namesake, she's going to make her way towards the start-finish line. Couple of cars, in fact, and pretty much everybody peeling into the pit lane. A couple of others taking out onto the track to get their second time of the day. Abby Roxy Rhino goes into P18 at 35.3. Not that far away from the competition, though. Plenty to find still.
Absolutely. Catherine Ormerod already deciding to make her way out for the second outlap, as is Regan Boylan and Hevar as well. Hoping the weather here in Las Vegas treats her nicely with more yellow flags in the third and final sector. That is, I believe, one of the Haas cars just making their way round as they try and sort themselves out, trying to figure out who that be. That might be Zara Shahsavari. It certainly is indeed, just making her way back towards pit road. Currently standing 15th fastest in our standings in towards pit road for a fresh bit of go-go juice. And again, an attitude to go with just over 10.5 minutes left in this qualifying session. Ample time here, Carl, to get at least 2 more runs in.
Exactly. No, I couldn't agree more with you. You have to wonder, though, Emma Clay with a 6/10 advantage out in front. I mean, we know Emma Clay's quick, but there's something about the battery management, I think, that's probably at play here. We saw many drivers run out of steam on the Vegas Strip. They put all of their tokens into that Vegas Strip and then didn't leave any for the start-finish line or vice versa. They've got to play their chips carefully on the table here because that, I think, is where the majority of time is being lost. I have no doubt that they can attack all of these corners absolutely fine, but the battery, the electricity, that active kidology is what's holding them back, I think. And we'll see if anyone can hold a candle to the championship leader because that is a hell of a margin.
I think one thing Omrod will be keeping an eye on and assessing over the course of that first run will be how much battery did they use up towards the line. You noticed we said, and we saw it on the lap as well, they recharged from about halfway down the Las Vegas straight where they wanted to make sure they had enough electrical energy for that final run out of turn 16. And I wonder maybe just how much they had left spare at that moment in time. Are we going to see a little bit of a different deployment strategy from Catherine Omrod this time around, making her way through the first sector? It was purple according to the game, but according to us, did not go faster. 26.529. Thielking, on the other hand, has gone purple in that first sector.
But again, it's a question of if you spent your electrical tokens too early. It's such a hard paradox to play with. I just pray that they've saved enough for this part here, the Vegas Strip, and that's so over the curb. It's too over the curb, in fact, for Catherine Ormerod. How's her other Catherine counterpart doing? The answer is going through turn number 5. All-out attack, just kissing the curb with the right front tyre through the split. 33 thousandths down might not necessarily be a bad thing, though, because there could be plenty of time to find elsewhere. Just clipping the curb at turn number 7. So you can also find a little bit of time if you get your car seated over that curb correctly. But either way, carrying the momentum. As Regan Boylan, the track lit up purple for a brief moment. Could it be heaven? The answer is it's Las Vegas. Either way, she won't care one bit. Flying down the Vegas Strip, using every single bit of battery available. Duracell Bunny crying. Now it's turn 14. Slam the anchors. The curb starts. You absolutely smash that brake pedal into the ground as much as you can, saving about 50% battery, and that's good management. It should be a decent improvement as the Audi runs towards the line and holding it narrow. How will Regan Boylan set herself up? The answer is 72 thousandths up. It's a modest improvement, but an improvement nonetheless.
Certainly is an improvement. Here comes Thielking, though, through the same section of corners, out of 16, run towards the line. Let's have a look at her battery, see what she's doing, down to 5% before the final corner. Can she improve from 4th? She doesn't improve. 68 thousandths of a second slower than last time around, and we're maybe just seeing the track not ramping up as quickly as drivers might have first thought. Alessia Halflack down as 16th, invalidating her run. Charlotte Perkins improving in the first, but there we go, not improving in the second. 11 seconds off at what she set last time around, so maybe had a bit of a whoopsie going through that second sector and does peel back in toward pit road. Keep an eye on Lee Woodward, not improving through the first, which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. Emma Clay has invalidated her run as well, and it's so easy to do, Carl, especially through that left-hander where we've seen many drivers just take a little bit of overcommitment, shall we say, as they try and attack the curbs to the nth degree.
Yeah, that's where the track limits are going to be in the race as well. Turn number 12, you're absolutely correct there. And that's why it was so important for Emma Clay to get that first time on the ground, and 6 tenths to the good as well, as Miss Nutrix sets a consistent lap time, but not an improved lap time, remains in P7. Really, the only couple of drivers that have improved substantially being Alexis Mason and Lee Woodward, who now lie 5th and 2nd respectively, as we have Def Not Jazz going not down the Vegas Strip. No, she is. Watch out, only Vic across the line. Does improve, yes, by half a second. Is closing in on the cars ahead. Every little helps in this qualifying session, especially when so many aren't finding the time and are pushing the limits just that little bit too far.
I think you must commend Vic as well, driving with a knee injury and trying out to seeing how the race goes. Of course, if there is maybe injury quarrels that are just stepping alongside her, getting up to where she stands at the moment in 20th, I don't think we're quite seeing full form at the moment from Ernie Vic, and we know she is a quick driver on a day. We know that she is up there challenging for some good points. Obviously, the last time she made an appearance did score points here in the W1 Sim Series, so we look forward to seeing her back at full form. Vanessa Hostetler, that Stark Loki, making her way down towards turn 14, 15 and 16, is improving. finding time most notably in the second sector. Wasn't a personal best in the first, but again, we've said this before, where it's all about that battery management over the course of a lap in total. Bails out at the very last minute as the Haas driver in towards pit road, so something's clearly not going right there.
Almost went for the Carlos Sainz strategy into the Vegas pit lane, although didn't peel out again subsequently. So all very interesting as Lily Browning is on another attacking lap. It's up to 13th now with a 33.9. How much time is left on the table? And we've got a question. Did Emma have teammates help in the straights reaching a 31.4? No, she's just that quick as Lily Browning invalidates. Curious Fire has not invalidated. Getting very inquisitive with the walls at Las Vegas and the curbs. She's currently on an in-lap, as it were. Has improved to a 34.3. In-lap, same thing. She's improved to a 34.3 though. And from where she started, she's already gained a significant amount of time. If there's one driver that's finding a good amount of cohesion with the track, it is Zara Shahsavari.
It is, absolutely. Compared to where she was on that first lap, has found considerable pace, making her way through in towards the second run. We have 4.5 minutes left in this qualifying session, and this chat is where I want to hear from you. Whether you're watching along on Twitch, whether you're watching along on YouTube as well, we want to hear from you. Who do you think is taking a pole position here this afternoon? Will it be Emma Clay? Will it be Lee Woodward? Will it be someone completely different? Let us know your predictions down in the live chat below. We are watching. We're keeping an eye on everything that you say. Of course, all the laugh reactions that Carl's Duracell Bunny comment got, and completely understandable because it broke me as well.
I'm here only to please, ladies and gentlemen, as we watch the Audi of Regan Boylan, currently residing in P9. But a good little effort at Las Vegas, it must be said. A lot of drivers struggling. She's not far away. She hooks it up absolutely correctly, manages the battery sufficiently. She's not far away from, I think, getting within a shout of the top 5 here. There is plenty of time on the table in Las Vegas. Maybe not from the track. Vegas, cold place. It's going to be cold track temperatures and conditions, and it does show within F1 26. But it all comes down to the electricity. You're going to get bored of us talking about it. It is going to happen, though. As through 14, 15, and 16 curbs tinged with a little bit of cherry-coloured funk, Regan Boylan is going to attack it all the way to the start-finish line. And here we go. The final flurry is beginning.
You're absolutely right. We've seen some predictions. Bilbo Swagger Muffin in the Twitch chat saying it's got to be Emma for pole position. We've also got Kevin Jones in the YouTube chat saying, well, I'm cheering for Miss Nutrix. I like her videos, and as a driver, she is getting better and better. I could not agree more. As we've seen the season go on, the confidence inside that Scarlet Ferrari cockpit has grown exponentially as we continue to go on, and I'm sure as we head into the final 3 rounds of the season, that is going to grow ever more as well. Regan Boylan through turn 5. Is she improving in the first sector? Not quite, but only 11 thousandths of a second separating her and her personal best time in the first. This is going to be an incredible lap. I have a feeling here, Carl, because if she's not necessarily improving in the first, there's a lot of time in the second and the third to make up for it. We've got a lovely dusk setting down here on the streets of Las Vegas, and oh my goodness, what has happened to Emma Clay? A 5-second penalty, or a 5-place penalty rather, for illegal blocking.
5-second penalty should be last. She's definitely hoping it's not a 5-second penalty. It all gets reset anyway, so I imagine it's just game kidology. But a 10th and a bit up in Sector 2, and she's got a Williams ahead that's going to give her a little bit of slipstream down the Vegas Strip. Now, and that is quite something. You spin the roulette wheel, sometimes it comes out red, and you are in luck towards turn 14, 15, and 16. Don't go too over the curb at turn 14. Poise it over turn 15, though. That's nicely executed. A last little piece of slipstream being presented the way of the Audi driver. She makes her way towards the line. Final attack of the Vegas Strip circuit, and it will be a minute improvement once again. It's still an improvement, but it just proves, oh, how so tricky it is to find that next level here at Vegas.
It really is. It's a lot of straight line speed, and in these 2026 cars, it is a tough one to see how it's going to go. One of the McLarens, I believe that is Sarah Hardy, just trying to figure out her place in the order as the car park does start to ensue on the run down towards turn 14. This is really where we're going to start to see drivers kind of queuing up, wanting to try and find that gap and find their place in this qualifying order. Lee Woodward just starting their lap, and oh, that's an Audi facing the wrong way. That's not Vic, that is the other Audi. That is going to be Alicia Hofflack, who's got on the power just a little bit too much through turn 16, was facing the wrong way, and surely that is going to be qualifying over for the young Dutch woman.
Make that a premonition, ladies and gentlemen, for what could be a rather, well, squandered symphony out of turn 16. Expect it. It could be a bit too much boost, a little bit too eager. Emma Clay, provisional pole sitter, has proved to not be too eager and has proved to have it all completely under control. Half a tenth down in the first sector, but it could all just be saving very wide through turn number 7. I doubt she feels threatened in pole position. She's a country mile ahead of the rest of the competition. Either way, it'd just be nice to get one final bit of improvement on the board. Stamp the authority home even more.
You're absolutely right. Information coming in from Camp Only Vic is she's in the pits resting her knee. Good news and actually a very sensible decision as well. Here comes Emma Clay, not improving through the second sector, so no personal best in the first or the second. I think, as we said before, maybe saving some of those tokens for the final run up towards the line. Let's jump forward and have a look at Lee Woodward, who has found time in the first and the second sector, potentially on par with what had been set by Clay earlier in the session. Up towards the line then. Can the Papaya pilot try and get pole position? Not quite. They improved by 2.5 tenths and some change. It's not quite enough to try and challenge up to Emma Clay at the moment. It will be the first try, I believe, of Miss Nutrix up towards the line. They go 2.5 tenths fastest, 5th fastest for Miss Nutrix. Emma Clay, can she find time again? No, not this time around, but still at the top spot and the top driver as it stands. Ashley Darts making her way through just in the background. I think the other Rebel Racing of Lily Browning across the line doesn't find farm and goes 14th fastest. Mercedes, this is Charlotte Perkins towards the line. Improves, stays 3rd fastest, but so close. Up to Lee Woodward, couldn't quite eclipse them this time though.
What can Field King do? We've got Madge crossing the line first. 3.5 tenths up to the good. That could be substantial, but no, loses it all in the final part of the lap. That is oh so cruel. Field King's not going to improve either. A second try at a home venue, and it's just not becoming a forged fairy tale for the Cadillac driver. Carlotta Marchi in the 150s will peel into the pits as well, very much retreating in. But my goodness me, Emma Clay with that first lap time set the timing sheets ablaze, and it's an ominous marker no one else can hold a candle to.
Tell you what, incredible scenes to see. There was the very first lap time set by Emma Clay that deemed to be unbeatable. Both Woodward, Perkins and Alexis Mason as well, all attempting it and getting into that 139 bracket, but it wasn't quite enough to try and displace Emma Clay, and rightly so, as you've said earlier on. It is going to be a race that Emma Clay knows she's got heritage over this season. Barring that result at round 1 in Silverstone, has finished either 1st or 2nd in race day. So a lot to look forward to. Starting from the front, has the other 21 drivers behind her. So theoretically, has the best chance to try and take victory here under the lights, hopefully, at Las Vegas.
Couldn't agree more with you. She's put herself in the prime position to be top dog in Vegas. Emma Clay, who has a 5-place penalty, just ignore it. She is your pole sitter with Lee Woodward trying to hunt her down, but it's going to take a lot more than that. Charlotte Perkins in 3rd, Alexis Mason 4th, Field King in 5th, Miss Nutrix in 6th, and colour me impressed, I'll explain why later. Catherine Ormrod in 7th, Madge in 8th, Ash Dart in 9th, with Regan Boylan rounding out our top 10. Jazz in the other Audi, Sheer Aura in P11, Heather, Stark Loki, Lily Browning, Zara Shah Savari, Sarah Hardy, Abby Roxy Rhino, Carlotta Marchi, Alicia Hofflack, Only Vic, and Laura Nodding. Made it.
It's always a bit of a rush, isn't it, to try and get those names read out. They added 2 more names and didn't give us any more time to go through. I think that's a bit insulting, EA, personally. But I think we just about get it done each time. Bilbo Swagger Muffin, that's a great name, by the way. I must compliment you on that one. There is a lobby restart every single time here in the W1 Sim series, just to allow themselves that brief moment to figure themselves out and, of course, get themselves ready for race day. And, of course, sort out any quirks that do show up as part of an EA Sports game, because they happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is the history of the F1 game, but we
Yes.
decline to comment much more than that. I enjoyed that qualifying session. And do you know why I enjoyed it, actually? It's because you saw the learning.
Yeah.
Particularly on that last lap. As you saw them on the first lap, then the second lap, a lot of people struggled to find the time. And then the switch flipped. Suddenly they learnt about where to save the battery, where to optimally spend their tokens, cast their chips on the table. Someone's noticed it. I'm going to carry on using it. But it was great. We saw that learning. Lee Woodward into the 31s. Charlotte Perkins, Alexis Mason also into the 1-minute 31s. And up and down the grid, you could see that learning. So in that sense, thoroughly entertaining qualifying session and impressive as well.
I'm watching on my screen in the moment the lobby restart happening. I must comment, Ash Darts has just managed to flip a Red Bull racing car on its roof. at turn 1, I'm impressed. Like, fully intentionally, let me just clarify that. They obviously go and disqualify or remove themselves from that first race that happened, because you can't just do a qualifying session. But I saw Red Bull upside down for the briefest of moments. That almost made me laugh. But you're right in saying there is fantastic learning that happened over the course of that qualifying. And I think as we get into race day as well, we're going to see that almost double down and start to go for broke even more, because as they follow the cars, try and figure out the braking zones a little bit differently, there is going to be opportunities to try and send the moves and learn and understand how each other brake for corners and take the corners and then benefit from that.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, you know, you've got the conventional overtaking spots, like you alluded to earlier. You've got turn 1, you've got the Vegas strip, the end of the Vegas strip at turn 14. That final straight at the end of the lap, though, I would argue is one to watch even more so, because that's where drivers won't save battery enough. That's where they'll be caught out. So I would say highlight the end of the race. Not even that. Even as the race goes on, because the overtake mode begins at the end of the Vegas strip, that's where the detection point is. You're going to see people maybe hang back and then burn the battery, and then they can try and escape with that extra power and that extra harvesting in mind. It's all going to be interesting as a chess game. Lap 1, though, throw it all out the window. It's going to be carnage. Every single corner's an overtaking spot. Expect virtual burnt Mylander to appear. Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if we do see him make an appearance here in the first couple of laps. And like you said, it is all going to be cards down on the table. Let us know what you've got in your hand and try and figure out everything else. Lily Browning is in the live chat, nervous as heck. Don't be. Don't let last week influence your mindset heading into today, because I think it's really easy, and I think both you and I, as someone that race, it's so easy to take that thing of you've crashed out, you've had a mistake, or had an incident like last week that wasn't necessarily your fault. But as you make your way through it, you've got to understand that it wasn't your fault that caused that incident. You were spun round, and it was just a really unfortunate corner to find almost, well, I don't say death in, but found death in. Unfortunately, car-on-car action doesn't tend to end well with a lot of carbon fibre flying everywhere. But you've got to clear it from the back of your mind. You've got to go again. Each race is a different opportunity to do well, and that's what Vegas is presenting for our drivers today.
Exactly. It's a maverick track, is Vegas. It doesn't follow the status quo. It's like what we had with Madrid. And remember, at Madrid, you did extremely well there, Lily. So, if that's anything to go by, you're going to finish like P3 in Vegas, I'm just saying. Ooh. But no, look, it's all a mindset thing. Racing, there's things that are in your control and there's things that are out of your control. What happened in Texas was very much out of your control. You're in the middle of the track. There's only so much other people can do. So don't feel... It's very easy in racing to take it personally, I think is the main thing. So in Vegas, literally, just get through lap number 1. I think that's advice we can give to all drivers. It's a known status quo in every single track, but particularly here, where there will be carnage, there will be crashes. Get through that first lap, settle into the race, then you can develop your rhythm from there, because there are spots where you can make the most of it.
Absolutely right. 25 laps here at Las Vegas, so 24, then more laps to make those opportunities. I'd always take the first, maybe 1, even 2, or even 3 laps to learn, understand how drivers are taking corners. Don't go hell for leather in that opening run, because you can learn so much in the opening couple of laps about how people drive. I appreciate this probably more likely for open lobbies and when you're doing kind of more GT racing on other sims, but you take that moment just to understand what happens, then you go, okay, that person's a little bit slow out of this corner, or they take it wider than they need to, and you just make a mental note of that for next time around, and that's where you can start to see the benefit pay off. It's so beneficial to be a smart driver, especially in these regulations and especially in other disciplines as well, that it will always beat pace 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's the two differences of overtaking, I suppose, where you have overtaking on instinct and overtaking on intellect, where the intellect you learn as you go and then you make the moves. The instinct is sometimes the difference maker, but it also can unravel a lot of races. That's the main thing. So if you go on instinct, you think you can make the move, then by God, you have the confidence to do it. But 9 times out of 10, you really add a lot of risk to it. That's the problem. Whereas with intellect, you learn as you go along, you build up the rhythm. And it's what you need in this track in particular. As the safety car is going to come out, you also need to be wary of your pit stops, because there probably might be a lot of those. So choosing your tyres correctly, it all gets reset. You can choose your allocation. Have a think. What tyres are going to benefit me most during this race? If there's early safety cars, what's going to happen? If there's late safety cars, what do I want? That will be in the back of their mind as well as we load into the race itself.
You're absolutely right. We have got drivers starting to ready up. I'm just waiting confirmation that they can do that. I believe just grid being set at the moment. A lot of drivers in the chat saying no bowling into turn 1, please. Yes, let's not go bowling. It's not your cousin. They have not called to go bowling. This is not GTA 4, I want to say, that you basically couldn't refuse to go bowling. If you know, you know. It was a fun. If your cousin called to go bowling, that was it. You went bowling, my friend. Hopefully everybody's mainly too young to have played that here, I think.
It's a very, very stubborn cousin.
It was, honestly. If my cousin called me to go bowling and immediately I had to go bowling, I'd be annoyed.
My cousin's in Sheffield. I'm travelling 2.5 hours. As much as I love them, I'm not travelling 2.5 hours. No. Outside of potential bowling, can I say I'm impressed by someone in qualifying, and I was going to say who it was, Miss Nutrix.
Yes.
Because she was like, only a couple of hundredths away from Catherine Thielking and drivers of that caliber. If you would have said to her that you would qualify within 200ths of a second of a championship chaser, she'd be like, you're mad. You're absolutely mad. But no, she has. And compared to Texas, night and day difference. There's clear confidence on the streets of Las Vegas. Let's hope she can keep it going. Ferrari are in a really good position here. So all to play for.
I've just seen something in the chat, actually. Laney's brought this up, and I echo your comments about Miss Nutrix, because I think the confidence growth that she's had over the second season has been exponential. She's gained so much confidence. And I saw her actually on LMU last night racing in VR. And even in that, it was almost translating to a different sim as well. You could see the confidence she had attacking the corners and attacking other drivers as well. But of course, Browning and Bowling, of course, we have a driver under the reserve title that is Lily Bowling. We haven't seen her yet, which is a true shame. We'd love to see her come and take part. But it would have been cinema, I think. Not in necessarily the best of ways. But maybe I'm just out here for carnage and chaos.
I think I'm not going to say anything because I'm impartial and I love to see clean racing. But let there be carnage, quite frankly. Let there be carnage. But it's like I say, I think we're going to see something unexpected. Kind of like in Madrid, where we saw Esme Chambers get a podium, where we thought Lee Woodward and Alexis Mason perhaps would have taken that moniker. We saw the Aston Martin come on through. I think there's going to be a similar thing today. I couldn't highlight to you what kind of driver that's going to be, but I think there's going to be one name up there for sure.
Interesting. Well, now is the time, everybody, to get your predictions in the live chat. Again, if you're watching on Twitch, watching on YouTube, heck, if you've been watching this as a replay about 3 days later, let us know in the comments. Get your predictions down below, because we want to hear from you. Who do you think is going to take victory here today? Will it be Emma Clay? Will it be Alexis Mason? Will it be Catherine Thielking, who works her way through the grid to try and take victory under the lights in Las Vegas? Luke says he's watching on eBay. What are we bidding on? What are we under? What's the reference?
Ooh, are we auctioning the first act of bowling?
Yes. Yeah.
Or, actually, are we auctioning whoever commits the first act of bowling? Put a price on it. Bets on. Actually, for legal reasons, we can't actually say you can bet on it because you can't. Let's make that quite clear. But you can predict it, which is quite funny. Watch it on Vinted. Very good. Any other mediums you want to tick off the list? Billy, Daily Motion, Carrier Pigeon. We got a whole rabbit hole here we could go down. I'm scared.
I'm watching on what was it? BuzzFeed. That was it.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Clever.
It's actually a new channel, BuzzFeed W1. They've created a whole channel just for us, but removed the BuzzFeed name. So it's
smart.
just W1. Yeah,
That's smart.
Really smart.
I'm watching on my Bosch washing machine.
The smart fridge, loading up the smart fridge. Yes. I think we should do that as a social media thing. It's like, where's the most ridiculous place you've watched W1? Because I think we could get some great responses from that.
I think you could.
Yeah.
That's a good. Watching on MySpace, right? Behave, Torn. Right. We're going too far now. We're going to loading up just Google itself. Yeah, okay. Yeah. This is good. Zero predictions, only websites.
I'm actually watching on the Las Vegas Sphere. I've boosted it up. I've taken over control of all the projectors.
Oh, that'd be weird.
That would
Imagine
be sick.
driving round and watching themselves driving round.
I reckon there's a way to do that. I might need to hit up Scotty and be like, hey, can we put the video file on the Las Vegas? Actually, no, it's just a video file. We could absolutely do this. Give me a few days. I'm away this weekend, but I reckon I could put the entire broadcast on the Las Vegas Sphere and then record it.
Yes. Let him cook. Let him cook. Double vision, says Lee Woodward. You're not wrong there. You're not wrong. I'm going to predict my race winner quickly as we're waiting for things to get underway. And I'm going to predict, even with all the safety cars and carnage, I'm going to say Emma Clay's going to win.
Nice.
Just my thought.
I don't know which way my vote's going. I'm really torn, and not the torn in the chat. Because I think you're right. I guessed Emma Clay right from the very get-go was going to take pole. We were having this discussion before we went live. But I don't know. I don't know who's going to come through and take victory. I'm going to go a little bit out of the box. I think Vegas is going to cause carnage. I think Neutrix could come through and get a win.
Oh, I like it.
Calling it.
Oh, brave and bold. Beyond the Call of Duty. Okay, I like it. I don't hate it at all. That'll be interesting. Imagine the celebrations as well.
Imagine. There will be Chocomel ready for this moment. If you know, you know.
I think she might be drowning in Chocomel.
Yeah. There will be a Chocomel sponsorship in her emails by morning.
She will run to the one mountain that's in the Netherlands and just celebrate throughout the night.
Just the singular mountain. It's only about 6 feet off the ground anyway.
We have a lot of fun, if you can't tell, ladies and gentlemen. I like that prediction. You should like it, Bilbo Swaggermuffin. It's a good prediction. I like it. Let's make it happen.
Absolutely. Bilbo says, I'm sticking with Charlotte, though she's absolutely rapid, of course. Stepping into a full-time seat at Mercedes, replacing Yvonne Halfler, who unfortunately had to step back to reserve. And Charlotte has basically been in that seat all season anyway. Has had some fantastic performances. Saw it last time out in Texas, where she was absolutely rapid. So maybe another performance here in Vegas tonight. But I have got some good news, Carl. It is dark. We are under the lights in Las Vegas.
Yes! Brilliant. Who dares to shine under the spotlight in the entertainment capital of the world? Or as we're going to call it tonight, the crash capital. But that's beside the point. And yeah, I couldn't agree more about Charlotte Perkins. Absolutely deserved. Won the race last time out in Texas. So absolutely deserving of being a full-time driver in W1 Sim Series. Putting some good results on the table. And if nothing else, she does like to get a fastest lap on the board.
She does. Has claimed most of them over the course of this season so far. And it's not even like she was at the back of the pack and dropped back just to claim it. She's one of those drivers that on a day is absolutely fantastic. Lily says, I'm trying to get ready, but I can't. Have you tried getting ready? What is stopping you from being ready? What is that blocker that is in the way?
It's a good. I think the main thing is just how claustrophobic it feels. You're not running on your own anymore. You're not hot lapping lap after lap after lap. Now you are surrounded by people only a few seconds away. They've just got to be wary, as we're going to get ready very shortly for those 5 red lights to come on.
That was quick. Someone's readied up early, but here we go then. Under the lights in Las Vegas, 5 lights are lit. It's Viva Las Vegas and Viva the W1 Series as we go racing down towards turn number 1. Emma Clay already under pressure from Lee Woodward, who sends it in towards the opening corner. They go to abreast. Emma Clay already down to second place, sends it down the inside of turn 2 and turns 3. Lee Woodward will have to try and do everything. Virtual safety car already as there was carnage further back. But oh my goodness, what a race start. Lee Woodward promotes herself up to first. Emma Clay got caught napping off the line. And I think the carnage runabout further back is exactly what had happened there.
Yeah, Jazz with front wing damage. Got a Williams of Lauren Nodding with front wing damage as well. Wouldn't be surprised if even more wings are being deployed, and they are. Absolutely ridiculous. End plates are galore, and there's 10-second penalties raining in as well for Regan Boylan. I saw Zara with a penalty. Vanessa Stetler has a penalty. It's raining penalties here in Las Vegas as everyone comes to a complete standstill, and it's absolute chaos. We've only been a few corners, but penalties are flooding in.
Absolutely, VSC has been recalled then. We are technically under racing again, and a lot of damage early on. Lily Browning's already up to 6th, ahead of Miss Neutrix. In towards the left-hander, still holds it on Theo King as well. Lily Browning not taking any prisoners at the moment. She's up so many places from 14th here, Carl. She's up 9.
Elbows out stuff from Lily Browning. It's a sensational start. Wanted to survive lap 1. She's done so much more than that. The rampaging Red Bull is seeing big daylight and big points on the table. Long way to go, though. Madge and Sarah Hardy both also got Catherine Thielking, who got shown the wall, very much so, as it's Alexis Mason closing in, already saving the battery, though. We talked about this. Maybe not saving your chips for the final straight is going to cost you, as Catherine's bailing down even more. Heather's gone up 3 places. Heather's actually genuinely gone up. She's saved the battery. That's why. That's the difference. If you save the electrical energy, you're right in the thick of things. And Heather in absolute dreamland.
Absolutely phenomenal start from Heather, qualifying down his 12th up to 9th at the moment. Cutie Bunny. That's Sarah Hardy making her way past Emma Clay here. On the back of Lee Woodward as well, making their way through the opening sector. And on the back, it's both Haas's starting to fight. Field King's back past Heather as well. The Cadillac starting to make waves. Haas won. That's Abigail Roxy Rhino. Up to 10th place. Heather as well. Trying to hold back Stark Loki. That's Vanessa Hostetler. As Sarah Shahsavari makes her way through the Cadillac. Hayden Dreamland again. Their home race starting to find form again for Shahsavari.
Yeah, great stuff from Curious Fire. Up firmly into the points-paying positions. Not sure what kind of penalty she has looming over her head. Regardless, excellent stuff. 10 seconds. There's your assessment. Penalties galore in the lower half of the grid. Catherine Thielking looking to attack Sarah Hardy. Miss Nutrix very much looking to make her way past Lily Browning. And it's Academic on the Vegas Strip with overtake mode firmly at her disposal. It was never in doubt. Ferrari through, Thielking through, Emma Clay through to retake the race lead. Ferrari on top, Ferrari up to P5, and she might well have just stayed behind enough to have overtake for the next lap, but Lee Woodward is not going to take it lying down.
Certainly not indeed. Of course, the overtake detection point coming in the entry into 14 is incredibly early over the course of this race distance. Lee Woodward on the back. Here comes Alexis Mason. Wants to try and make waves. Abigail Roxy Rhino as well. Passing Heather through the final corner. Makes her way up to 10th place. The two drivers here, Carl, that were out on lap 1 last time in Texas are in 6th and 10th respectively. They've come back here with a vengeance. They have gone all in on red.
They said, not today. I will not be put out of this race early doors as we watch Carlotta Markey going in, more so Jazz Luna heading into the pit lane with a lot of front wing damage on the Audi. It's a retreat to the box, and we'll see what she can do with a little bit of clear air and hopefully able to revitalise and resuscitate a race from there. Alexis Mason closing in on Lee Woodward for P2, at least only briefly, because suddenly a little bit of electrical resurgence for the McLaren puts her really close to the race leader. Now here comes the Vegas Strip again. A lot of back and forths are going to happen on the Vegas Strip this race. And we've got the best seat in the house and a bucket of popcorn to watch Lee Woodward go for it on Emma Clay.
Certainly do. We'll jump up to the front and ride off board with Alexis Mason. Here comes Lee Woodward on the run down towards turn 14. Do they make this move early? Because, of course, they'll sacrifice overtake mode on towards the next lap. They are going to be side by side in towards the braking zone of 14. Outside line for Woodward. Inside line for Clay. Through the trio of corners. Woodward takes it. Clay back down to second. Here comes Alexis Mason, though. Trying to get involved. Surely not going to go 3 wide in towards this final corner. Alexis Mason wants not 1 but 2 places. Through she comes. She's past Woodward. She's past Clay. Alexis Mason in towards the race lead at the start of lap 4.
Brilliantly brave. Has to be careful she doesn't get switched back by Emma Clay and does keep the race lead. Of course, we'll have overtake mode as well, so it's a great opportunity to try and scamper into the distance. But again, it's all just battery saving now. You've got to cast all of your chips on the table for the Vegas Strip. You've got to wait patiently. Thielking, no waiting around. Lily Browning's next on the chopping block. Can't be late enough on the brakes and can't make it through. So still waiting is the Cadillac. Through turns 7, 8 and 9. Surveyed by the Sphere are Alexis Mason, Emma Clay and the McLaren Maestro, Lee Woodward and Perkins just in the background. If it all reaches boiling point, it's going to make her way on through as Lee Woodward's going to try and make a move into turn 12. Not just on 1, but also on 2 to be ahead on the Vegas Strip. Throw Alexis Mason off kilter. Hopefully has not spent their tokens too early. Emma Clay with an entire battery pack at her disposal. And now it's that delightful drag race. Alexis Mason already saving. Emma Clay inside or outside. Obviously the inside line. Slaloms on through. Easy as you like.
Great bit of battery work from Emma Clay. Knew that this was going to be the opportunity to try and send that overtake and worked towards that goal. Alexis Mason, looking to make moves on Lee Woodward, but couldn't quite do it this time around. Both Mercedes running 3rd and 4th at the moment, having an incredibly good race between themselves. There's a battle further back between Abigail Roxy Rhino, and that's Heather as well. The Williams and the Haskar, joined by Curious Fire. That's Sarah Shahsavari as they continue to make their way through. Here comes Alexis Mason again, looking to the inside of the Papaya pilot. That's Charlotte Perkins. Doesn't look to be playing the team game at the moment, as they might want to try and send some early moves down the inside and become essentially that lead Mercedes car. Let's have a quick look back here, Carl, at what happened just a few moments ago.
Yeah, save the battery towards the last corner, and this is exactly how the script will unravel. Alexis Mason to the inside, gets Lee Woodward, has the inside line for turn number 1, blazes it a tiny bit wide on the braking, just to ascertain the move is made. Either way, it was P1 on the last lap, but look at the tyres already complaining on the back of that Mercedes. Power sliding through turn number 8. Can't do that too often. The rear tyres complain at the best of times as we ride on board with Zara Shahsavari, keeping in close quarters combat with the likes of Abby Roxy Rhino and Heather. Some impressive pace from the Cadillac driver.
It is looking very impressive at the moment. Qualified in 15th, has found 2 places off of race start. I'm shocked we haven't seen a safety car here. There'll have been at least a few drivers that are hoping and praying that that safety car would have come out to save them from that earlier carnage. They'll be hoping, praying, and even more so that it comes out before they have to serve those 10-second penalties and their initial pit stops. Here comes Madge on the back of Miss Nutrix and ahead in towards turn 14. The Aston Martin finding form here. Miss Nutrix down to 6th again. Madge has found form, I think, quite impressively. Down starting in 8th, has found 3 places. And now starting to run away as well. Already almost a second in head of that Scuderia Ferrari car. They have got Catherine Thielking, and then Lily Browning for company just a little further back. But of course, from the chaos of this race start car, we're starting to enter into this middle territory. The moment where everyone started to settle down, the nerves have relaxed a little bit, and they go into almost a management mode, don't they? Until maybe the final 7 to 5 laps.
Exactly right, yeah. You don't want to lose too much time to the cars behind you, because the more cars you invite into the battle, the more cars you end up chopping and changing with, and by extension, you just give yourself more stress. And you don't want stress. You want to be relaxed here on the streets of Vegas. Not easy at the best of times, as Ormerod just breezes on through on Sarah Hardy, who's got extremely good confidence on the brakes, and almost retakes the Fury from Faenza. Didn't happen, as off the track goes Alicia Hofflack, does rejoin, albeit there is physical damage and also probably emotional damage on the right-hand side of that Alpine. Alexis Mason, close by to Lee Woodward, has broken away from her teammate, quote-unquote. Of course, no reason to not have civil war in Mercedes in this championship, as there's no Constructors' Championship. But it's always nice to work together as teammates, as Ferrari have done previously. Emma Clay, we look to the rear of the Ferrari to watch Lee Woodward visibly close in 6/10 the gap on lap number 6. Poetry in motion as the lead quartet slalom through turn 14, and Miss Nutrix fainting the car to the inside, looming large in the mirrors, says to Madge, if you don't get a move on with it, I will blaze right on past. As Alicia crashes at turn 5, and there's the save of the bacon. The safety car has arrived.
Full safety car as well, so Bert Mylander will be making an appearance just too soon for Emma Clay to essentially get into pit road, but will come out behind the safety car. That is heartbreak for the Scuderia Ferrari car. The drivers that will be able to make it in will benefit massively from this. Almost certainly expecting drivers further behind from 7th. That was Miss Nutrix, the first of those drivers to really make waves. I'm shocked Zara's not got in there, starting on the medium compounded tyres at bare minimum to serve that 10-second penalty.
I would have thought so as well, but clearly there's some intergalactic levels of brain play that we don't understand, TK.
Clearly.
We're going to have to let her cook. Everybody else, though, into the pit lane, and this really opens up the race for them, because cars ahead can't get away. They're going to catch up to the back of the train, and if they really want to get rid of the majority of them, at least, those medium compound tyres, they have another thing coming. It's not going to happen. They're going to have to wait their turn, so the top 6, top 7 even, they're all going to have the pain and shame of having to try and bank on another safety car as only Vic peels into the pit lane for the first time.
She certainly does, starting on the hard compounder tyres, and I think this will be to serve, I believe, that penalty that she also has. Mediums going on, so this could develop, Carl, into a 2-stop strategy, just as a bare minimum, as we said, to serve that 10-second penalty. The likes of Regan Boylan, who has also pit. I'm trying to figure out, they've got 3 seconds to their name. That's why the penalty notification has not disappeared as of yet. Still 10 seconds hanging over the heads of both Lauren Nodding and Zara Shahsavari as well. And I'm sure later in the race, we will see those serve them under green flag conditions. But only Vic down to 20th, of course, nursing that injury that she still has. So the fact that she's still running and still racing in this Grand Prix has to be said a lot of her character and her strength.
Definition of resilience is only Vic. Donning the blue blur, what do the leaders do? Luckily for them, the grid is very spaced out. I wouldn't be surprised if people did peel in, as Abby Roxy Rhino goes for the alternative aerodynamic package on the Haas. More so because they've lost their front wing. That is quite peculiar. Emma Clay, Alexis Mason, Charlotte Perkins, they are all into the pit lane. They have pulled the trigger. Lee Woodward and Catherine can't because they're on the hard compound tyres. They've got to brave it out just a little bit more. And that should nullify the damage just a little bit. Where do they emerge? Miss Nutrix is rounding turn number 1. Be great if they had Ferrari line astern. That'd be fantastic news, as Catherine Thielking has a 10-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. More drama dished out.
I'm curious as to what has happened here, because there's been a lot of penalties being handed out for not quite sure what has happened. I'm sure. Oh yeah, it's Catherine Thielking's dropped to 20th according to the game. What is going on? Has the lobby had a moment?
Quite possibly. Back up to second now. Everyone just hold your breath quickly. Lily Browning's now P3. Stop the count. There you go. That's all the result you need to know. Never mind, she's been demoted. That is absolute heartbreak. I think it's as they cross the start-finish line, it finally catches up. It's weird. Either way, lap number 8 of this race, Lee Woodward leads Catherine Thielking, who has a penalty. Emma Clay has been able to box. Heather's now apparently 4th. It's all kicking off. But whatever the case, Lee Woodward and Catherine Thielking, I'm surprised, truth be told, that they started on the hard compound tyres. Because it was almost a guarantee we were going to have an early safety car, being Vegas. Of course, you can't put all the money in the world on it. But it's Vegas, like I say. There's bound to be a safety car. It's just, my mind boggles slightly on that aspect.
This is an esports ready game, everybody. I'm just going to throw that one out there and leave it for no further conversation. But it is Lee Woodward that leads from Thielking. Apparently Emma Clay's in the pits. I don't quite think so. Oh, there we go. More adjustment. I have no idea what's going on. We might have to have
pit lane.
We might have to have a lobby restart here. I might have to call this one.
It's looking very possible. We're hearing it's normal for the driver's POV. Lily Browning is putting a tentative lobby restart, maybe? Question mark? She didn't put a question mark. We're going to question it anyway, as Lee Woodward looks to try and race on Bernadette Mylander. That's their new name now. Carry on. Lap number 9 of the Las Vegas Grand Prix. We have no idea what's going to happen from here, but it is Lee Woodward leading Catherine Thielking, who then has Emma Clay, Alexis Mason, and I don't think Hevar in P5, as much as it would be generational to see that, because Miss Nutrix is next in that queue. Apparently P15, but should be P5. And then you've got someone in picture, honestly, just forget it. I'm lost. I'm lost. I'm just as lost as all of you are. It's a good order, but I'm completely lost now. Lily Browning's apparently P19. I don't think she's P19, but we'll gloss over that.
So I've got some information. Catherine Thielking has been given a 10-second penalty for overtaking someone in the pit lane. I think that's enough for me to call a look. Carl, I'm going to use your judgment because I think we call it, right?
I think we call it as well, yes. I agree. I know that the positions are okay, but it's all seeming a little bit... It's all looking a little bit weird. I'll be honest. Dupelon says you shall restart. Or your wish is our command then. It's a red flag here in Las Vegas.
that is all it takes. Lobby restart then, ladies and gentlemen. And not the way we'd want to see that go down, unfortunately. But yeah, of course, an unfortunate one to go from. We are being asked what order. That is a great question. We were going to go, I'll tell you what, whilst we try and sort this out, we're going to head to a Be Right Back screen. It's the first time I think we've ever had to use it. Much so that I don't actually know where it is on my buttons. There it is. We've never had to use it. We're going to go sort this out. We'll be right back, folks. But please do not go anywhere because there is some incredible racing about to come your way.
Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say run. Just say run. Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say run. Just say run.
Well, welcome back, everybody. It was the one time it had to happen. Thankfully, we had a Be Right Back screen ready. But of course, esports ready game, meaning esports ready things happen to it. So let us explain roughly what's happened, and we'll try and go from there as to how we're going to move forward with this. Obviously, it's a little bit difficult trying to sort that all whilst we were speaking, hence why we went into that discussion, or the brief Be Right Back period. So, safety car, among other things, caused a few issues where drivers were getting penalties, overtaking under yellow flags and stuff like that for cars that actually were in the pit lane but had been put onto the circuits the game thought they were on there. 10-second penalties and the like ensued. From that point, we then decided the lobby restart is the fairest option for all of the drivers, because of course we want to make sure that everybody has the best chance to compete as best as they possibly can. In terms of race distance, we've gone for a 35% race distance, which will be equivalent of 18 laps of racing, and the restart order will be taken from before the safety car was called out at the start, I believe, of lap 6, which means we aren't going to miss, I think we'll miss like 1 lap of racing in totality. It's an unfortunate situation to be in, but it's the best and the fairest way that we could see to move this race forwards.
I couldn't agree more with you. The other alternative was, in the spirit of Las Vegas, just spin a wheel inside the grid like that. We thought that might get backlash though, so we didn't do that. But the grid, we can confirm, as the safety car literally came out, will look like this. So, first place, Emma Clay. You have Lee Woodward in P2. Mercedes leading the line with Alexis Mason, followed by Charlotte Perkins. Madge is in P5. Miss Nutrix, P6. Catherine Thielking in 7th place. Lily Browning, ruining that she was in such a good position. Don't worry about it. You're still in the top 10. You're P8. P9 is Catherine Ormerod. Sarah Hardy rounds out the top 10 of the grid lineup. You then have Heather, Abby Roxy Rhino, or Roxarino, depending on your ball knowledge. Curious Fire, Regan Boylan, Stark Loki with Ash Dart, Carlotta Markey, Only Vic, Def Not Jazz, who is Jazz, and then Lauren Nodding rounding out our 20 left in this race.
Absolutely. I believe Alicia Hofflack, I think, is stepping in as well, because technically we took it before the safety car came out, so she is, in theory, 21st place. But it's nice to have all the drivers back in and able to go racing. We'll take it as if we're approaching off of lap 6 onto 7, but of course we will start from lap 1 again. As Lee says in the chat, that was interesting. I absolutely agree. It wouldn't be Las Vegas without something a little bit controversial happening, but luckily, from what I can see, nobody has readied up early this time. If we throw it over, once again, under the lights in Las Vegas, we ought to imagine that somebody hit a manhole cover or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, none of those pesky drains, but it did uncover a much darker truth about Las Vegas. More about F126, which I'm sure a lot of you won't know. It's quite broken. Here we are in the pit lane for attempt number 2. Of course, it might have shuffled around a little bit at times, but we saw people that maybe didn't have a great stab at it in qualifying did make their way up. Interested to see how Catherine Thielking responds, of course, closest challenger to Emma Clay in the championship. Had her feathers ruffled a little bit at the start of that previous attempt at Las Vegas. So we'll see how she does here. If she can regain her confidence. Now it's a complete reset. If you get a good start, suddenly momentum's in your favour and it can snowball from there.
You're absolutely right. Drivers have been given the notification they are allowed to ready up on the grid. Nobody has jumped the gun this time. The die are in our drivers' hands as they get ready to roll. Will it be Krabs Or will it be a jackpot for our drivers here this afternoon? Under the lights, all 21 of them getting ready to go racing. Emma Clay starts in front of Lee Woodward for the second race start here in Las Vegas. Viva la W1, down towards the first corner we go. And this time around, a much better start from Emma Clay in towards the opening few corners. 3 wide, further back, little wiggle there from Charlotte Perkins trying to get on the power. Just a little bit too early, but manages to calm that silver arrow. This is Catherine Thielking, Ivy there, Lily Browning as well, not far off the back. Moves being made further back as Abigail Roxy Rhino up to 13th, Heather down to 15th, but everybody keeping it clean off the line. One of the Audis, that's Regan Boylan, saving the car. Deep goes Thielking into the corner, contact with the wall as well.
Audible gasp. Championship chaser into the barrier. A complete misjudgment of the braking zone. Back to the rear end of the pack. Has it every single thing to do, and it's not just one Cadillac in the wars, the other one is as well. Zara with damage as well. On the right-hand side, you can definitely see it of the car. On the left-hand side, yes, the end plate's missing. Big damage for Zara Shahsavari, who's going to have to carry that all the way to the pit lane as Regan Boylan and Vanessa Hostetler do battle in towards turn 12. But they somehow have kept it all without a safety car. Lee Woodward chasing down Emma Clay for the lead. Alexis Mason in P3. What a start for Miss Nutrix, who's up to P4 on that second restart, but she's going to be chased down. Perkins on the prowl, on the hunt, down the inside and through into P4.
Sometimes it's about battling and sometimes about picking your battles as we make our way to end the first lap of 18. It's still Emma Clay that leads from Lee Woodward as well. Alexis Mason chasing down in third. Moves being made further down the order as soft tyres we're starting to see come into contention. Here comes Lee Woodward looking to the outside of the first corner. We'll have the inside line for turn 2 and turn 3. The McLaren car to the inside of the Scuderia Ferrari blocks off the nose of Emma Clay, takes away that race lead as we run down towards turn 5. Emma Clay wants the inside for the 5th corner, tries to get it. We'll go later on the brakes here. Then the McLaren does so, holds inside line. Emma Clay, defensive masterclass to retake that place. But here comes Alexis Mason, not allowing Lee Woodward a moment to try and have any rest or recuperation. They'll go too wide through this weird Mickey Mouse section. The McLaren on the outside, Mercedes on the inside. They're still too wide as they run. Alexis Mason not letting her opportunity fall down quicker, but just has to let go this time around. Charlotte Perkins still there for 4th. Miss Nutrix in 5th. Madge still holds 6th. Lily Browning in 7th. Cutie Bunny, that's Sarah Hardy in 8th. Omerod and Ashley Darts as well. Your top 10 as it stands.
Pinpoint precision between Emma Clay and Lee Woodward. Mere millimeters away from shaving shards of carbon fibre off one another, but the battle for upper places in the top 10 is reaching fever pitch. Ash Dart going for the bullseye, has not got the battery to be able to execute that so as to save it and bide her time. Thielking through on Death Not Jazz in the background, in the Cadillac. She's through to P14. Lily Browning closing in on Sarah Hardy. Can't make the move. Big send from Catherine Ormerod. Caught up in a Red Bull sandwich. Does not want to be a filling in that part, but she's going to have to settle for it. Alexis Mason does manage to pick the pocket of Lee Woodward through turn 17. As we head on to lap number 3 of this restarted race, Ash Dart does get through briefly. Now it's a braking war between into turn number 1. Almost is going to try and get 2 for the price of 1.
Ooh.
And there's contact. Big contact and into the wall. Goes Ash Dart, glued to the side pod. And the Red Bull implosion has well and truly happened.
Furious Fire, that's Zara Shahsavari in towards pit road. Here comes Ash Dart, who's retired from the race on the race circuit, which is not exactly what you like to see, all the way down to 16th place, I guess, after that earlier damage, deciding their race is well and truly run. I'm not quite sure what has happened there. I'm sure we'll be able to get a comment earlier on. The contact with Lily Browning, but Lily Browning on the back of Sarah Hardy as well, as we make our way in towards the Mickey Mouse section, joined by Omerod and Abby Roxy Rhino, apologies, in 10th as it stands. Heather in 11th. It's Regan Boylan up to 12th. After not of the best race starts, of course, we saw that little tank slapper that she had, but here comes Omerod past Browning and looking ahead to Sarah Hardy in 7th. Looks for a move in towards turn 12, but can't quite make it this time around. Further back, Omerod and Browning still going side by side, and this time it's Omerod that comes out on top. Up at the front though, here comes Alexis Mason for a moment, but ran out of battery before she could do much about it.
Yeah, Emma Clay just being a little bit more savvy on the electrical juice as we look to the turn 5 complex. We look to lap number 1 and Thielking just misjudges it, can't get the car stopped. puts too much lateral load on the left-hand side tyre and has no choice but to sail into the barrier. Lucky she did it in the way that she did, so she does still remain in this race and is already up to P12 despite all of the chaos, which is immense work as Regan Boylan up to P10. Alexis Mason could not get past Emma Clay. Regan up into the top 10. And while it all started at a simmer at race start, it is quickly reaching a big boiling point. Theo King up to P11 as well. Alexis Mason brave on the brakes, round the outside. That's a quality move from Alexis Mason and a masterful manoeuvre from the Mercedes.
Absolutely stunning. Played the tactical game and it's worked out this time around. Emma Clay down to second. Heather and Abigail battling it out for 12th and 13th on circuit. Haskar just having the inside line compromised by the Williams. They still look to run side by side in towards this complex of corners. Outside line for Haas. Heather will have to hold the inside. Almost running and abusing track limits was Abigail, but does well, I think, just to keep the car inside of the white lines as they run down towards turns 11 and turns 12. The drivers are starting to find their footing once again. Heather here comes once again. Catherine Theoking getting past Regan Boylan. The Cadillac starting to find form. The championship contender knows what she has to do today, but to do that has to dispatch a lot of these cars in front of her to catch up to the front. But this will help. Lee Woodward getting past Emma Clay and past Alexis Mason. 2 for the price of 1. Here comes Emma Clay though, looking towards the inside of 14 on Alexis Mason. Couldn't quite get the move. The Scuderia Ferrari will have to wait for another day. Charlotte Perkins is still in tow, but up at the front, Lee Woodward leads, at least for the time being.
Titanic tussle. Again, Alexis Mason rolling the dice at turn 17, going into turn 1. And again, Emma Clay goes for the inside. The narrow line will lend itself nicely. There's the prime example. Gets a nose ahead. Will the whole car be ahead at the exit of turn number 4? You goddamn bet it is. Emma Clay with an excellent overtake. Once again, Alexis won't take it lying down. She's confident. We know this. Into turn 5. Will hold it round the outside. Has to settle for 3rd place, but no, just about has a nose in it. Is invited back in towards turn number 7. Does she spot the braking point? Is enough space left? Oh, this is quality. This is absolutely brilliant battling between Emma Clay and Alexis Mason. Judged to perfection. Take a bow.
You can almost say all of this is being conducted by Lee Woodward as well. Every time they choose where to place their car, it's either compromising Clay or compromising Mason. And that is what's really allowing this battle to dictate further and further on. Lee Woodward knowing what she's got to do to try and hold on to this race lead at the moment. Emma Clay will be hoping, begging and praying that she can make her way forward to make control and conduct this race as we go forward. Alexis Mason wants a charge down the Las Vegas Boulevard and up towards turn 14 here. They might try and go for it, but I question how much battery they've got left in their tank. Emma Clay, on the other hand, has got some charge. Scuderia Ferrari prancing back to the lead of this race. Here we go then. Clay takes it from Woodward and Mason. Perkins still there, as is Madge. And of course, Miss Nutrix still in tow. Charlotte Perkins does get past her teammate at the first time of asking. And almost Madge trying to send a move around the outside here of the final corner.
Misjudgment from Alexis Mason. Either that or a mistake we didn't quite catch, because she's dropped from P3 down to 4th place as Madge all over her case as well. But a bit of papaya punch from Lee Woodward, quickly snapped up by the Italian stallion, driven by Emma Clay back into P1. Lee, of course, now has the overtake mode, though. Is boosting down towards turn number 5, is round the outside, in towards turn number 5. It's going to be late on the brakes towards turn number 5, but Emma is the last of the late breakers. Not today. Great battle brewing between Lily Browning and Regan Boylan. The Audi thought they got the job done. The Red Bull says, no mum, not today. Back through into P10 for the time being. Already a third of the way through this race in this restarted Vegas Grand Prix. And there's sometimes a restart can be the best thing in the world, or it can be the worst thing in the world. Regan Boylan, she's probably quite happy there's been a restart. She's clearly found her footing again and is having a great run at things. For Theo King, not the greatest start, but she's quickly making amends for it.
Absolutely right. It is a tale of as old as time. It's sometimes the best of news, sometimes it is the worst of news, but for this time around, a few drivers certainly hoping that it is going to go their way. Here comes Lee Woodward up at the front, trying to challenge Emma Clay once again down towards turn 14, not even in the same postcode before getting the move made. Here comes Charlotte Perkins now, wanting to try and get involved in the scrap for the lead. Wasn't quite alongside enough to go for the lead, but does dispatch Emma Clay up to 2nd place. Alexis Mason still holding 4th. Madge in 5th. And Miss Nutrix, I think, has had a bit of a moment drops 2.5 seconds. Either that or the leaders are really starting to find form here through the final corner. 2 by 2 they run. Charlotte Perkins takes race lead. Lee Woodward still second. Emma Clay wants a piece and tries to promote herself up to second, does so successfully. Alexis Mason wants to try and get involved round the outside of the McLaren car. They'll try and run. Tyres not holding on for dear life, and down towards turn 5 Perkins leads from Clay. Woodward still under pressure from Alexis Mason. Here comes Madge as well, wanting to try and send a move to the inside. Side by side for a moment between Woodward and Mason, like they did in Spa so long ago, and this time it's Lee Woodward just holding on again.
You question how they can run side by side and millimetrically close to each other for so long. The answer is because they're just that good. They can run that close because this is the quality, this is the caliber of W1, and it keeps on getting closer and closer with every single race as Regan Boylan gets oh so close to picking the pocket of Sarah Hardy at her home venue, rounding the Vegas Sphere, eyes prying on to the drivers every single move, and at the moment, all of the marvellous manoeuvres being executed. But now it's a saving game towards the Vegas Strip. Interestingly, Miss Nutrix and Catherine Ormerod peeled into the box at the end of that last lap, so going for a little bit of a longer final stint. Whether they've gone onto the harder tyres or not quite sure at the moment. What it does mean is they have some clear air to operate in as they go battling into turn 14 again. Lee Woodward just waits their turn because Alexis Mason went for it on Emma Clay, got compromised. The momentum lended itself to the McLaren. Charlotte Perkins will pull the pit lane trigger, as will Lee, as will Madge. They will respond to the call posed by Miss Nutrix on the previous lap, and Emma Clay and Alexis Mason, they're going to do battle on their own. Slaloming all the way around the outside goes Alexis Mason. The mediums really finding their form. The softs just feeling a little bit worse for wear. Either way, brilliant execution, and they can still run so close for so long. It's brilliant.
It is absolutely fantastic. A real mix of tyres coming out of the pit stop. Those that started on the softs going to the mediums. Those that started on the mediums going towards the hard compounder tyre. A real 50-50 split as Lee Woodward passes Regan Boylan after completing their pit stop earlier on. But Miss Nutrix, I think, would have been hoping to be a little bit further up the order at the moment. Of course, 2.5 seconds off the back before those pit stops happened. Not far off that at the moment after completing their stop, but did get caught up in a little bit of traffic. Makes her way past Carlotta Markey up to 9th place now and has a little bit of free and fresh air to try and chase down Vanessa Hostetler. That's Stark Loki on the left-hand side of your grid. Not Jazz and Regan Boylan running 7th and now 6th respectively as Madge passes Regan Boylan in towards this weird and fast-flowing section. It's still going to be a good result from Madge here. Of course, has completed their mandatory stop, as has Woodward and Perkins up at the front. We're waiting for Clay and Mason to make their earlier stop. And here comes Emma Clay on on Alexis Mason in towards turn 14, retaking race lead. You'd almost expect here, Carl, for Emma to make her way into the pits now, because otherwise Perkins Woodward would be right on her case at the end of this lap.
Exactly, and right on cue, she absolutely does. And of course, Regan and Jazz are in those positions in the Audi car. I'm not saying anything, but if you ever wanted a definition of Audi aura, look at what's visualised in front of your very eyes. Emma Clay peels into the pit lane, medium tyres, slapped onto the Ferrari wagon. And that will take her all the way to race end. Where are Charlotte Perkins and Lee Woodward going to appear in all of this? The answer is, through goes Charlotte Perkins, through goes Lee Woodward, and Madge could also pick the pocket, as there's a brief yellow flag. One of the Audis I thought was going slowly for a moment. It might have been, I'm trying to figure out who it is. Is that Regan going slowly? I'm not sure. I think it is. Regan's P7. What's happened there?
Is that a hardware issue again for Regan Boylan? We've known her to have them over the course of the season so far. It looks like picked up pace once again as she tries to challenge Miss Nutrix in towards turn 5. But again, easily explained, yeah, wheel disconnect, as Jakey confirms in the Twitch chat. So really unfortunate for Regan. It's been a season of ups and downs for Regan Boylan. Of course, has shown great pace over the course of the season, but I think mechanical and hardware failures not necessarily being her best of friends. Catherine Omrod is past Vanessa Hostetler. Lee Woodward is past Charlotte Perkins, but I don't think Charlotte Perkins wants to stay in 3rd place for long. In towards turn 12. They try and look for a move, can't quite get it on this occasion, but the run down the Las Vegas Boulevard will come a-calling. And up towards turn 14, the opportunity to try and make a move here, as they have got Perkins, Clay and Madge as well in tow. The top 5, with Alexis Mason remaining out in the lead of this race, taking those mediums incredibly long distances. will be challenged. Mercedes 1-2 then. Charlotte Perkins passes Lee Woodward into turn 14. Emma Clay thought about it for a moment, seeing how slowly Woodward went in towards that corner. But again, decided the better of it. Madge wants to do her best to try and stay with these front runners. Def Not Jazz in 6th, 7th Miss Nutrix. Regan Boylan holds on to 8th after that hardware issue. But unfortunately, I think this could be very detrimental to her total race.
What the worst bit is, I think she potentially might have been peeling into the pits as well.
Oh.
One regular race for Regan Boylan. Is that too much to ask?
Double stack.
The Ghost, and there's a double stack as well. The Ghost has no home and it's possessing the spirit of her steering wheel, so it's very much making itself accommodated. And Regan would rather it didn't. Jazz into the pit lane, Regan into the pit lane. It's going to have to be the most sensational of Audi double stacks. And, well, they do a decent enough job, let's put it that way. Onto hard compound tyres for both of them. Again, what could have been? One regular race. One day it will happen, we swear. Perkins now behind Lee Woodward. Alexis still hasn't pulled the pit lane trigger because she well knows that the softs are going to melt out there and it will be an immense problem. She puts them on too early and then the rear tyres complain towards the end. So Lee will lead once Alexis pits. Perkins in P2, Emma Clay in P3. Madge just losing a bit of touch. But if they battle anything like they did in the first stint, going to bring her right back into the fray.
You're absolutely right. It's certainly looking that way as it stands. Yellow flag in this first sec. So I think the driver's having a bit of a moment. That might be Lauren nodding. It is through turn 5. The corner that has caught a lot of our drivers out over the course of this race so far. You approach it at such great speed, and actually you close that straight line mode. I think the latest of any corner here as he picks up a 10-second penalty for corner cutting. Here comes Alexis Mason into pit road then, opting for a set of the soft compounded tyres. 2.2 second stop from the Mercedes crew. And the question will be, how much can they trust in those tyres? The likes of Lee Woodward, Charlotte Perkins, Emma Clay, Madge all peel past the pit exit road, which will mean the drivers down to 5th place on circuit as it stands. A good gap further back. Catherine Thielking, fastest lap of the race, a 1:33.830. The front 3 have now separated away. Madge has been a bit of a stalking horse with 1.5 seconds to the disadvantage of Charlotte Perkins. A further 1.5 seconds back is Alexis Mason. Will the Aston Martin be critical in the charge for Alexis here if she wants to try and get back to this top 3?
Quite possibly, especially if she gets into the overtake range, then who knows what could happen for Alexis's race. Because then Madge has got the extra battery to play with. All the stipulations playing out, cards held close to the chest by oh so many, as we're only a few tours left potentially from what could be a cutthroat conclusion to the race. Lee leads from Clay, from Perkins, from Madge, from Mason, from Miss Nutrix, but who has a Catherine Thielking, who after that restart, red mist very much descended and has been putting in some absolutely interstellar times, trying to pick up the pieces. In P7 at the moment, Hevar and Lily Browning having a good battle. Only Vic is the one that loses places as a result, and she's got damage on the right-hand side of that Alpine. Jazz flows on through as well on the hard compound tyres. Yes, completely red front wing on the right-hand side, and you feel like it could be a retreat to pit lane.
Oh.
Even that maybe just going from the race. No! A crash into the wall! At turn number 12, we have a safety car! And that brings everything right back down to earth.
Oh, that's so unfortunate for Eddie. It was running so well in the race so far. And once again, race leaders not able to get past the pit lane before the safety car peels out. So will immediately catch the back of Bert Mylander. Not the best of race situations here for them. But commiserations out to Ernie Vick. She was running such a good race. Still needed to make that pit stop this afternoon, but of course was up in 12th, had good form, especially with the injury that she has as Jazz Luna decides that track limits are optional under a safety car. How have you done that through that corner?
Too much aura for penalties in the Audi camp, obviously, as we know. Gutted for only Vic. She was having a great run out there, like you say, even whilst nursing an injury, but it is out of the race. Either way, commendable effort all the way through as into the pit lane from a bunch of competitors. Both Audis are back in. Hevar is into the pit lane. Abigail Roxy Rhino is into the pit lane as they look to revitalise their race just a little bit more. Alexis going plus no glitch. Can't promise anything. Audi with the big double stack and the big one because Jazz has to serve her 10-second time penalty before she gets her front wing changed. So even more waiting, and in this case the Haas can just phase through reality and peel out of the pit lane. Great news if your name's Roxy Rhino. Lee Woodward leads this race then with Emma Clay in P2, Perkins in P3, Madge in 4th, Alexis Mason rounds out the top 5, and it plays very nicely into her hands, I feel. She gets to save her soft compound tyres now under this safety car, keep them in a good window, and when it comes in, there'll only be a couple of laps left of this race. She can properly challenge for the race win now.
You're absolutely right. Luke Sam blaming Meraki in the Twitch chat. I agree. For once, I agree. That is exactly Meraki's fault. Jakey saying it was such a BS pen for Jazz, of course. Unfortunately, I was going to say, I'm curious where you get a 10-second penalty through that complex of 14, 15, and 16. Because there's not many opportunities to really cut that corner. My only assumption is really abused turn 14, the first left-hander, where I think there's a little bit more runoff than the rest. But, of course, we'll be all up to the stewards. I don't think we'll be able to get that removed since serving it under safety car. Lily Browning saying it's so annoyed right now. You're running in 10th, Lily. There's still a fantastic opportunity to score some good points here. Of course, running on the hard compound tyre. That's what it's going to do. Let's have a look at the tyre compounds everybody is running. The lead driver with the freshest tyres here, Carl. Thielking and Omerod sitting in 8th and 9th respectively, both on 1 lap old mediums. Alexis Mason, who's had a good pit stop, all accounts to her name, has got good tyres. Of course, the front runners would have been hoping that they would have got that that free pit stop. Being told last turn before the final straight, yeah, that turn, I think it was turn 12 or 13, the one where you really can cut it. For a lot of drivers actually managed to pick up invalidations in qualifying, didn't we?
I think if it was further up, even turn 15, you can mount that curb a lot as you get onto the start-finish straight before you're propelled out. Of course, you can't cut turn 16 because there is a giant slab of death on the inside. But turn 15, you can take a lot. If she's got a 10-second penalty for cutting over that, that's incredibly harsh. Still very much in this race, though, in P16. Gone for the soft tyres. Never say die here in Las Vegas. And it's, I think, keep an eye out for Catherine Thielking. I think the red mist has very much descended since that restart. She's managed to get her head right on focused in for what she needs to do this race. And now there's a safety car to help her out as well. She's got the freshest soft compound tyres of anyone in the top 8. Don't count her out for 1 second. This could get tasty.
This could get very tasty indeed. I've just looked as Regan Boylan is in a wall.
Oh my gosh, not a wheel again.
Is she stuck?
Trying to figure out what's going on here. Her wheel has disconnected again. Safety car is in this lap. How unlucky can you get as a driver? Genuinely. I think if my numbers serve me correctly, this is either her 5th or 6th disconnection of the wheel from this race. Absolutely gutting. We know how much pace she can have. The safety car's going to peel in. Lee Woodward's going to pull the trigger extremely early. We are back racing in very much the hell that is Las Vegas, but has very much been heaven sent for so many. Through to turn number 1. Emma Clay already showing the nose down the inside. Wants the race lead. Sends Lee Woodward sailing wide. The narrow line will inherit for Emma Clay. Then she sweeps on through into the race lead. Mason takes P3 already. Thielking's up to P6. There's bound to be fireworks here, TK.
Miss Nutrix wanting to get the better of Thielking in towards turn 5. The heavy braking zone will start to make its way forward. I think Nutrix playing the sensible game there. A little bit of lift and coast in towards the corner. Oh, Perkins into the wall. Miss Nutrix gets distracted. Perkins is gone. Safety car again for the 2nd time in just 1 racing lap. We're back under safety car conditions, Carl. It was a brisk moment where we saw racing happen. Charlotte Perkins just misjudging it through turn 5. And of course, Charlotte Perkins misjudging it through turn 5. And Miss Nutrix, I think, trying to avoid that Mercedes and hitting into the wall herself. Front right end plate and a lot of that front right wing missing for the Scuderia.
Might not be too bad, though, because a lot of drivers couldn't catch up to the safety car in time. So if she does need to box to get rid of that damage, not necessarily the end of the look at that 86% front wing damage on the right-hand side. But like I say, she pits. It's not necessarily the end of the world. Don't think she'll lose too many places. Emma Clay takes the race lead then, in good time as well. But again, Alexis Mason can just save her soft compound tyres. Watch out for Catherine Thielking, though. She's in P5. She's got the freshest tyres of the lot. And what I will say now as well is Perkins is apparently out of this race. Perkins is out of this race, of course, because she crashed turn 5. Because Regan was below. I got confused. It's fine. Regan's back because while it was hell that descended upon her under the previous safety car, suddenly heaven's been sent. Another safety car's out, and she's back in this race.
Heaven has been sent. I think maybe the stream title paying into that one for Boylan. Miss Nutrix down to 10th as she does peel in towards pit road. Lauren nodding, I think, did just leave the session slightly earlier on. Maybe some internet issues for herself, as we welcome in Charlotte Perkins, who raids in on Twitch. An unfortunate end to your race here this afternoon. But, of course, I think we're only going to see the safety car here, Carl, for maybe 2 laps at an absolute maximum. We'll go racing on lap 17 with 2 to go.
Looks like it, for sure. I'm also going to play devil's advocate here, because I don't think Charlotte Perkins would have made the mistake into the wall. Possibly sent in by Catherine Thielking, who has... That's not the first time she would have misjudged turn number 5 on a safety car restart. So gutting again, Perkins, very much nothing she could do in that situation. As we look to the lone Audi driver with the chrome livery, who's just going to reflect every single illumination of Las Vegas. It's just sheer aura farming. Look at it. It's artistry. It's vibrance. It's downright delightful. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, tensions are rising. The waters of tension, well, you can see the crest of the wave and it's ever growing. Tsunami-esque for Emma Clay, who's got plenty of hungry competitors waiting in the wings. Lee Woodward, Alexis Mason, Madge, certainly Catherine Thielking, who may have a steward's ticket over her head, we're not sure. But if she's going to have a chance of winning one of her home races, this is the prime opportunity.
It certainly is. Of course, qualified or restarted, should we say, down in 7th. Has found her way to 5th, is on a set of soft compounded tyre. They've completed 4 laps so far. We'll have to do another 3 until the end. So well and truly within the range of making them work. I believe if anyone can get a hold of Alexis, let her know that Lauren has disconnected. But I don't have Lauren as a friend on EA, which is unfortunate. To be able to get her back in towards the session. Hopefully, Alexis will be able to just pause and get her re-invited, which would be lovely. Or just ping her in the Discord chat. That would be appreciated. But Emma Clay, let's talk about what's going through in Emma Clay's head at the moment. She's leading this race, is on the one-stop strategy. Same story for Lee Woodward behind. Of course, Alexis Mason on the, I was going to say the more optimal tyre, but actually the soft tyres probably starting to wear their way down. What is going through the head if you're Emma right now?
Hopefully not a huge amount, to be honest. I feel like if I'm Emma Clay, considering the qualifying pace I would have had, considering her management previously as well, I think she should come into this with a really positive mindset, because there's no reason, even if the softs are still a little bit superior, that she cannot win this race. It's all a tactical piece of warfare, though. When it comes to those green lights coming back on, when the green flag falls, when it turns to all-out action in the last couple of laps. It's going to be an interesting one, I think. I don't think she's necessarily going to keep the lead on the first lap, but it will all play its part coming into the end of that race. She's got to play it carefully, though. We're looking at, I'm trying to see who we are, Lily Browning. That's it. 46% damage on the right-hand side. She, too, has been in the wars at Las Vegas. It's not fallen the way of very many drivers, to be honest. You'd be hard-pressed to find a full front wing in many cases. Lily Browning, just the latest victim of the streets of Las Vegas.
You're absolutely right, and not a way you like to go. Hit the back of Catherine Omerod is what we're hearing as we make our way through. It's curious, finally, that's Ara Shasavari just going slowly through this corner. I think just trying to figure out this grid order. Hopefully, we will have the safety car maybe in this lap, otherwise we're going to have 1 lap of racing. I can't see that one happening. Normally, it leaves us with at least 2 to go. Have we had the notification? There we go. That's incredibly late, coming down towards turn 14. Safety car will be in this lap then. We will go racing with 2 to go, Carl. Emma Clay will lead away from Lee Woodward. The question's going to be, when does she pounce?
Bit of a concertina as everyone tried to get it slowed down. I thought there was going to be big fireworks for a moment. Thought I saw damage for Catherine Ormerod as well. We'll have to check that again in a moment. Looking at the back from Emma Clay. Final restart to run. She's carrying as much speed as possible. Does not intend on slowing the back down. She's just going to get it on going. Back racing for the final time here in Las Vegas. Emma Clay leads into turn 1. Thielking's already down the inside of Madge on those soft compound tyres. She's got plenty of purchase and she's already through. 1 place gain for the hometown hero. Alexis Mason next to pick the pocket of. She's already claimed 1 Mercedes into turn 5. Not in a good way. She might claim another one in a much better way, though. Alexis defends the inside, puts the car in the middle of the track, says, no, you don't. Not today, but that's fine. Plenty of other places. Catherine can pick the pocket up to P4, has a prime chance of winning, but time is running out very quickly.
Certainly is. Only a lap and a half to go here in Las Vegas, and the question will be, can she make her way on towards the podium? Miss Nutrix past Vanessa Hostetler up to 10th place, and that's going to be Stark Loki. Vanessa Hostetler dropping down to 14th. Will stay with Catherine Thielking here, who knows the job she's got to do over the next few laps or so, and she tries to chase down our race leaders. This is going to be do or die under the lights.
Straight line mode open. Boost to burn for the American hometown hero. Firmly locked into the slipstream of Alexis Mason. Lee Woodward looking to try and claim track position from Emma Clay. Pulls to the outside. Does the McLaren. Can they get on the brakes later? Into turn 14. They ideally want to be behind. Emma Clay says, fine, you take that chance. Lee Woodward leads going into the final lap. Quite possibly, but has lost themselves the ability to have that extra power, that extra harvesting. Alexis is going to try and take the place as well. This is vital to try and be in a place to win this race. She's going to hold it round the outside to look to try and take P2 in this Grand Prix. Emma will fight and fight and fight it all the way, left and right. Thielking's there to try and pick the pieces as well. Through Alexis Mason goes. Can Thielking do it? She's hardly got anything in the tank. Emma Clay bails. Thielking's into the podium places.
Clay knows it wasn't going to be that time around. Had to go somewhat sensible. Here comes Lee Woodward. Sorry, Alexis Mason trying to make the move on Lee Woodward in towards the Mickey Mouse section. Vanessa Hostetler retires down at turn 5. But Alexis Mason retaking race lead will not be a safety car at this moment in time. And as we run through the second sector, Lee Woodward not wanting to try and play second fiddle at the moment round the outside of Alexis Mason. They're still battling at it. Here comes Emma Clay as well, wanting to try and get the better of Thielking. Hold on towards that podium position. Too wide through the left-hander and up the run down the boulevard it commences. Lee Woodward leads from Alexis Mason to Catherine Thielking in third, Clay in fourth. Madge is still there in fifth as well, but the front five well and truly have broken away.
Final, it's rolling the dice then. Lee Woodward to the outside, Mason to the inside. It's going to be who's bravest on the brakes. Into turn 14. Could be fireworks yet. Thielking's there. She hits the back of Lee Woodward. Can pick up one place. It's a drag race to the line, TK. Emma Clay's still there. No way is this happening. 3 wide into the final corner. Who takes the win? She's there. She does it again. Emma Clay wins the Vegas Grand Prix. The championship leader will not be denied. And from the depths of despair and not being in the conversation for the race win, Emma Clay reigns victorious and under the spotlights in the streets of Vegas. She shines oh ever so bright.
3 wide across the line in Las Vegas, and what was a moment for Emma Clay where we thought she was down and out, where we thought the win could never be hers. I thought for a moment Thielking was going to hold that, but oh my goodness, never count out Emma Clay, who manages to take that race win right at the end. And my goodness, we've got to watch a replay of that one.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. We said it, didn't we? Last straight, if you don't save the battery, you'll be caught out. Emma Clay just had the inside line. Lee Woodward was almost halfway into the wall. Alexis Mason, who thought she could have had the biggest chance of winning in Vegas. Suddenly, it is all Emma Clay. Thielking just cleans house in the rest of the awards. Heather, though, is cleanest driver. About that. Just an absolutely astonishing conclusion to this Vegas race. It's a miracle we don't need resuscitation in the commentary box. Emma Clay wins by 24 thousandths of a second, and that's the top 2 in the championship. Third place in the championship claims P3. You then have Alexis Mason, Madge in P5. Miss Nutrix from Front Wing Damage claims P6 by about the same margin. What a recovery from the Flying Dutchwoman.
Personal best for Sarah Hardy in 7th as well at a home Grand Prix. It was then Omrod in 8th, Carlotta Markey 9th, 10th for Lily Browning. After that damage, Abigail Roxy Rhino in 11th. Good result for her. Jazz Luna, Heather, Zara Shah Savari and Lauren Nodding. Alicia Hotflack, Regan Boylan as Vanessa Hostetler, your finishers. It was then Charlotte Perkins, Oni Vick and Ashley Darts that did not make it until the end. So points for Sarah Hardy at a home track. But my goodness, I thought Vegas was going to be a good race. I had no doubts about it. But my goodness, up towards the line, just a thrilling finish right at the very end. And you know what? I almost want to go back and have another look at that race because it was just fantastic.
Ah, shouldn't we just? Didn't we just? It all stemmed from the fact that Lee and Alexis fought it. Look at Alexis first going into the final corner. Catherine thinks she has it. She's got the best tyres. Emma has the inside. And Alexis loses 3 places in the space of a single straight. You spend your tokens too early. That's exactly what can happen. Wow. The Vegas, fair play. That's how we do it in W1. That's all I'm going to say.
That is absolutely how we do it, and what a drive. Of course, Abigail Roxy Rhino, let's not forget, out on lap 1, last time out in COTA, came home to finish in the top 11 today. Same with Lily Browning, out in COTA, finished in the top 10. Some fantastic drives from the both of them, and came back to America for the second time in 2 weeks, looking for a vengeance, and vengeance they certainly got.
Couldn't agree more with you. Excellent. Excellent from the pair of them. Excellent from Miss Nutrix, who recovered oh so rapidly. Excellent from Sarah Hardy, who's got a personal best. Top 5, honestly. We thought we were going to see a massive explosion. Thought we were going to see a massive crash, maybe, because you can only follow oh so close for so long without something going wrong. And yet they still didn't put a foot wrong. They could still show that respect, still follow closely, and in the end, we got a grandstand finish all the way through. It's just...
We absolutely did. Abigail in the chat, I'm so Brazilian like Neymar. We were saying this earlier, weren't we? It sounds like a Brazilian footballer when I said it wrong the entirety of last week. For what I can only apologise, and did apologise in person. Abigail was at Silverstone with us on Saturday for Mayuki Panda's charity event. We'd love to see Panda back racing as well when she's recovered from her injuries. Of course, I think raising just over $8.5 grand for Cancer Research UK, which is just absolutely spectacular. I'm sure if you come join the Discord, there'll probably be a link for it as well. I think the donations might still be open. But it has come to that time of the afternoon/evening, Carl, that we get to have a conversation. Do we start with Lee Woodward in third, or do we start with Emma Clay, who won it by just 24 thousandths of a second?
Oh. You know, in this case, I think it's got to be Emma, because her emotions are going to be through the ceiling right now.
Well, let's bring her in, shall we? Emma Clay, everybody, welcome in. Let's just get the first and obvious question out of the way. Final corner, how were the emotions after crossing that line to take the win?
Oh my god, you don't even understand how I'm feeling right now, because that was mental. Like, on the last lap, obviously, I was the last of that pack, so I was like, oh my god, you know, what rubbish is this? Because some of the driving heading onto the lap 17 or whatever was suboptimal from the others, I would say, and I was quite annoyed. But I just knew, like, you know, if I have enough battery for that straight, and hopefully, you know, just waiting for someone to get desperate into the last corners, which happened, and I had enough battery, and I had the inside, yeah, just to win by, what was it, 200ths from being fourth in that train was mental. So yeah, really happy about that.
Absolutely, and of course there was a lot of battling going on. We'll talk about the race restart, I think, starting in a couple of moments, but obviously sticking with the strategy right from the very get-go, you went for that one stop, didn't pit under that second safety car that we had. Obviously Theo King behind went onto fresh softs, which almost took the race win from you. Talk us through how you sorted the strategy for the restart, because obviously unusual race distance, I think, for a lot of our drivers. We went for 35%. That kind of changes the strategy game, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I knew, like, the tyre wear around here is very minimal, so I knew the softs would be fine, starting with anyway. And obviously we had the choice to pit under well, actually no, I think I was going past the pits when the safety car came out, so that choice was kind of gone. And obviously by the time I came back around the next time, everyone kind of more boxed in together, so that would have been more positions that I would have to overtake. And I just didn't feel like it as though it was worth losing the track position, because my tyres were fine. Like, obviously they're not as good as the softs on the restart, and obviously my tyres were a bit worn, but you know, yeah, I'm happy with the decision we made. In hindsight, perhaps the softs would have been a good call, but you know, you never know, really.
Absolutely. And one final question before I hand over to my gorgeous assistant on the right hand side. The race restart, obviously the red flag kind of threw a spanner in the works. Obviously you were doing rather well, the safety car came out, and carnage, I think, is the only way I can really describe it, at least from our end. Drivers are getting penalties left, right and centre. What goes through your mind when that lobby restart takes effect? Because how do you get yourself from a point of we're racing at the moment. We're 7 laps into the Grand Prix to going, okay, we've now got to go again. I've got to do the race start again. And actually, you had a much better launch in that second start.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt not hard done by, because obviously that's not the right word, but I felt like not the happiest that we had to restart the race, because obviously Lee hadn't boxed yet by the time that safety car came out, and obviously she'd be 20 odd seconds behind me, and then obviously Catherine, she had wing damage, 10-second penalty, and she was like in P8, 7, something like that, and I was like, well, that's, you know, because obviously they gain more points because of the lobby restart today, like what, P2 and P3. So yeah, I mean, not ideal, but just to get more points over them, really happy with that. And that's just all I can ask for, really.
Emma, excellent race. I still haven't recovered, but we'll ignore that. We'll cast our minds back, actually. We'll get rid of the chaos of the race for a moment and look to qualifying, because, I mean, not a bad way to start the weekend. That was a convincing pole position from you.
Yeah, once again, I did my bank lap, and then my next 2 laps were absolute rubbish. I'm pretty sure I invalidated my second lap, as I did in Kota. And then my last lap, I think I messed up some section of the lap. I don't quite remember. It feels so far away right now. But yeah, I mean, to get pole by, I think, 6 tenths, and I was like, what, 5 tenths from my PB. So yeah, I'm just pleased with the pace that I've been showing recently, and hopefully there's more to come.
I'm sure there will be. I mean, not to put statistics into it as well, other than Britain, which we ignore, you finished either first or second in every single race that you've attended so far, and that's, again, the reason why you're leading the championship. Your consistency is immense. Like, what's clicked for you with these cars compared to last year's in 2025? Because you've just shifted a gear.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I mean, last season I had obviously my injury that affected me from the midpoint of the season onwards. So from that point, my results fell apart because I was just in so much pain, couldn't practice, couldn't maximize anything. We have a better team now at the W1 Ferrari Esports camp, as you may call it. I don't know. We're just optimizing everything better. I mean, perhaps last race for Kota, the practice wasn't great, but for Vegas, we really came together, and it was just great. Like, everyone was working together, being punctual, everything like that. So it's not just me being consistent. I mean, I guess I'm a much better driver than I was last season as well. And I guess the DLC is done something to my driving. I guess it just suits me more, I guess. But yeah, just consistency and better teamwork, I think, would be the answer.
Yeah, that's great. No, you're doing a cracking job. Final thing from me before we move on. It was going to be the 5 stages of grief question again, but I'm not going to do that because you won. Instead, we've got a break, obviously, before the final 3 rounds at Zandvoort, Mexico, and Jeddah. Rank those from worst to best. Which ones you like the most and which ones you don't like as much?
Ooh, Zandvoort is an interesting track. It's going to be hard to overtake. So I don't know. I don't even think I've driven on that track apart from in open lobbies, and it seems okay, but you never know. Maybe I'll just do a Barry Burmond on the last lap or whatever he did to win that race. Let's see. What else is Mexico? It's going to be another track which battery is going to be interesting because of that long straight. I don't know. I don't have many ties to Mexico because I mean we've never raced there at W1. I've never raced there anywhere else. Just career mode, and obviously career mode is not where you want to be practicing for league racing. And Saudi Arabia, as long as I can keep it out of the wall at turn 4, I'll be happy.
I like it. Nothing from me.
Nothing further from me, Emma, as well. So first and foremost, congratulations again, another race win under your belt. Hope you have a great break week and come back restored and refreshed in a couple of weeks' time.
Cheers, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Emma Clay, everybody, today's race winner. And what was the most dramatic of fashions, and I don't think it's one that we will stop talking about for a very, very long time. Almost going 5 wide across the finish line. I think Alexis Mason just losing some grip on the tyres as well. But we'll have the full debrief of it, I'm sure, on social media over the next week, as Emma will be getting on that. But let's bring in our driver that finished in second place, Catherine Thielking, who misses out by literally a hair's width, 24 thousandths of a second between the two drivers. Catherine, I think it was a race of ups and downs for you today. A lot of wing damage, a lot of moments where you didn't necessarily see yourself coming back from. And then to be so close to winning it, how are the emotions?
Yeah, this certainly was a roller coaster of a race. It definitely had its ups and downs. Especially, was it going into the wall on on the lobby restart and going back to last, but I was able to claw back up. It is a little frustrating to miss out on the win by just that much, but also I can't be too mad about the result considering where I was at the end of lap 1, so...
Amazing. Carl, I'll hand the gauntlet straight over to yourself.
Oh, with pleasure.
Quick one.
Right, here we go. First of all, let's cast our minds back to before the red flag, I suppose, where there was penalties galore. We won't talk about that too much, but it seemed. I always think a restart is it can be the best thing or the worst thing for some people. So, how was it for you, particularly as you started on the hard compound tyres, to have that reset, to have that neutralization of the race, then just maybe try and give you a bit more of a positive chance into the second one?
Yeah, I think that restart really kind of helped my chances. I know I was P2 at the end of that whatever fiasco, but I think being sent back to P7 and then I was able to start on the medium tires definitely helped, but then I missed my braking point, so it didn't help at all in terms of like the restart. But I guess being able to kind of reset after those first like 10 laps of the original race kind of helped me kind of reset my mood, because I was definitely very frustrated losing some places and getting that penalty. So that restart definitely helped with my mentality.
Yes, and then ignoring lap 1 of the race. There was some good overtaking. It seemed like, I mean, you have the conventional spots of the track, but you found a lot of places where you could make moves. So it's frustrating, I suppose, but was it fun being able to carve back through the field and just build up that confidence?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun kind of carving through the field, making moves and where you don't traditionally see moves. That's always fun. And then it just, I definitely feel a bit more, what's the right word? I don't want to say like satisfied, but it's more fulfilling to make a bunch of moves and then kind of end up on the podium rather than like starting first and finishing first, So yeah, it was definitely a much more fulfilling feeling I have right now after this race.
Couldn't agree more. Finally, we have a little bit of a break before we mosey our way over to the final 3 rounds. Just your thoughts on Netherlands, Mexico, Saudi Arabia. Which one are you looking for?
Oh boy. I think I'm looking forward to the Netherlands. I want to see. I don't know how these cars are going to perform on that track with all the twisty turns and the few straights. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen there. And Saudi Arabia too, because that track is kind of similar to here, Vegas, Madrid, and the Madrid. So I'm looking forward to seeing the chaos and all the ruckus during that race. So
trust me, we are as well.
Oh, yes.
Nothing more from me.
Amazing. Catherine, again, pleasure as always to speak to you up in the commentary box, and a good result to take the championship charge yet further in towards the season. We hope you have a lovely break. We get some well-needed rest and recuperation. We'll see you ready to go as we head into round 8.
yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you. Catherine Thielking, everybody. Race second place here today, and well, what a finish. That was so, like, literally 24 thousandths of a second. It's hard to comprehend such numbers and how close they were. But we have got one more driver to have a chat with as well, Lee Woodward, who sat patiently in the wings for us after making, I believe, their PSGL debut in the last few weeks as well. So taking what they've learned from W1 and taking it into PSGL and other leagues as well. But Lee, talk to us about that race, of course, finishing just behind Thielking and Clay. I think it was, again, only about a quarter of a second from yourself up to Emma. There was a moment there, surely, that you thought you might be able to get that.
Yeah. Well, I had it going down like the strip,
Hmm.
and then got someone. I think it was the Mercedes sent it into that turn, and then I just got put in a wall at the end. I don't know. I'm not gonna say too much because it's probably just like more emotions at the moment. But throughout that race, I think getting driven into about 4 or 5 times by the same person, they need to. I think it was one of those races where some people just got a bit desperate and went for moves that weren't realistically on. And, well, we saw the ending. I mean, Catherine and Emma, their battle was amazing. It was clean. It was everything. And then for me, I ended up in a wall because I had more battery. So, yeah.
Not the way I think you want to see that race go down. Of course, I'm going to skip ahead to looking ahead for the future. Of course, we've mentioned break week next week and everything else that is sort of coming down the line. We head for the final 3, Zandvoort, Mexico, and, of course, Saudi Arabia. I'm going to steal Carl's question that he posed earlier on. Rank them. Looking forward to the most versus the least.
I'd probably say Mexico the least, purely because from what I've tested, tyre temperature is quite hard to manage, especially on controller. But most looking forward to Zandvoort. I mean, that was been the one I've been looking forward to the most all season. I love it there.
Amazing. Carl, I'll pass the mantle.
Thank you kindly. Hello, Lee. Congratulations on the podium.
Thank you.
Let's cast over to the last lap. I think more so. Yeah, I think I echo what you say on desperation. I guess more so as the race went on, you had that restart, obviously, but in terms of your battery deployment during the race, maybe, and managing it versus other drivers out there, anything you might have potentially picked up during the race that you then applied as we went into the restart and as the race went on?
Yeah, definitely. I left it in medium the entire time, and I realised I was running out of battery going down the straight or not having as much as I needed to do consistent lap times. And then I noticed that Emma's car was constantly flashing in corners where mine probably wasn't. And I realised, okay, maybe she's in non and just using non and overtake. And I tried that, and it helped a lot. It massively improved my lap time and my overall pace.
Oh, fantastic. And also, I think we go to qualifying as well, even before we'd done all the battery intel picking up. It was a good qualifying lap from you. At the end, you made your way into the 131s. Emma's first lap was quite incredible, but even so, you made it into those 131s, and you were the closest challenger when all things were said and done. So you found your flow in the end.
Yeah, I if I'd have done my PB, I'd have still been behind her. I think she just needs to slow down a bit. You know? I mean, she's going a bit too fast for all of us. I can't keep up. Maybe I don't know. I'll probably message her after and be like, "Can you just slow down a bit? I need to keep up here a bit, please."
Let's cap the throttle at 90%.
Yeah.
We'll see if Clay's feeling charitable. Final thing before we move on. It's, by all metrics, I'd say you've had a pretty damn good start to the season, to be honest. It's new cars, it's uncharted territory for a lot of people, and yet you've been in the top 5 every single race. You leave with 4 podiums before we head off into the final 3 races. Question to you is, championship? Think you could do it?
I don't know. I'm going to be optimistic and say, why not? But realistically, if Emma doesn't slow down a bit, then second place is probably the closest I can get. But I'm not going to stop. I mean, I'm confident for 2 of the 3 races, and I'm sure I can maybe just try and grab as many points as possible in Mexico.
Nice.
But yeah, I've learnt a lot with these cars. Started off not liking them, and now I like them a little bit more, but I still don't like them. But I'm getting used to them.
I like it. I love the mentality. Nothing further from me.
Lovely stuff. Lee, again, an absolute pleasure to speak to you. And a pleasure as well to, I think, see you on Saturday as well at Panda's karting event. It was lovely to catch up. Heading into the break week, we head for the final 3 rounds of the season. We wish you the absolute best of luck with both that and PSGL as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Lee Woodward, everybody. 3rd place in today's Grand Prix. And the most photo finish that I think we've ever had in the W1 Sim Series, and I hope that we're going to have more of those in the future, because both our blood pressures probably skyrocketed during that moment, and we've got a lot to try and look forward to. But Carl, before we do our sign-off shenanigans, should we have one more look at the calendar before we head to break week next week?
Let's do it. Avanti. Here's the 7 that have been and gone. The 7th heaven for Emma Clay, who takes yet another race win this season. But then we have a break. It all resets. We head off to Zandvoort, the Netherlands, where there might be only one mountain in the country, apparently. But there are a few hills in Zandvoort, so it might make up the difference. Mexico is the penultimate round of the season, and then a track with a completely different character. The Jeddah Corniche circuit at Saudi Arabia to bring us on home. What a final 3 races we're going to have.
An absolutely cinematic finish. One to challenge the MCU. It's the WCU. It's the W1 Cinematic Universe, everybody. It is going to be a fantastic finish. You do not want to miss an absolute second of it. If you are watching along on YouTube, drop a subscribe and a like as well. If you're watching along on Twitch, drop us a follow. It really does help the channels out as well. And over on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok and Threads and all of the above that you've been watching on, I don't know, Samsung smart fridges, for example, drop them a follow as well, because I think we're very near to hitting thousands on a couple of them here, there and everywhere. And it does help us push the league further and further along. But Carl, as we head to a little bit of rest and recuperation as well, where can the lovely people check you out on social media? Because you're up to something really cool at the weekend, and I want you to shout about it.
That's very kind of you, mate. Well, I'll tell you where you can't find me, and that is, well, climbing around with clattered comrades at casinos. You won't find me there. But where you will find me is at my name, Carl Paranik. You type it in all one word, you'll find me there. And if you want to find me elsewhere, I'm somewhere in Cumbria. You can find me on YouTube. I'm officially doing motorsports commentary. Yes. I'm very, very grateful for.
Up
Finally.
the boy.
Oh, very kind of you. No, I'm very grateful and very excited for it. But alongside me, wouldn't be possible without this absolutely dashing gentleman, Mr. TK. Where can we find you on the internet?
Well, I'll tell you where you can't find me, Carl. That's fencing with floppy pool noodles in the fitness centres of Frankfurt. You won't find me there anymore. But do go drop Carl a follow. Please keep it up to date with everything that he is doing over the course of the weekend, because he is genuinely a very talented individual, and I really hope the guys that are racing over there enjoy his work. But until we see you next time, it won't be next week, but in fact 2 weeks' time. So keep up to date on all of our social media for when that race goes live. If you haven't joined the Discord already, it is pinned in both of the chats. Come say hello. It's a lovely community, and everybody is very, very friendly. But until we see you zooming round Zandvoort, from all of us here at the W1 Sim Series, it is good night and God bless.
Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say